In a mansion owned by the wealthy Kong family, their eldest son is possessed by an unclean spirit. Haunted by demons, the Kong family has invited a shaman to exorcise and cleanse their son. Song A is a talented shaman. She is so beautiful that her exorcism dances can make the demons inside the householder feel dizzy. I don't know if it's because of the passion for beauty or the sound of exorcism. Despite spending days and nights performing all 12 rituals, the demon stubbornly clings to the householder's body, refusing to leave, causing Song A to get annoyed and swear directly at it. "Hey, sorry, but I don't have time. You have 10 minutes to get out of my client. I'm in a hurry," because Song A is about to have an exam. So, she doesn't care about anything else and directly asks him if he is willing to leave the client's body. But this demon doesn't listen. Song A curses him, "Your hell may be on the other side of the Santu River, but my hell is university." She asks him if he dares to take responsibility for ruining someone's future. But because Song A is late, she leaves the exorcism ceremony there, rushing to school but also missing the bus. Fortunately, there are some public bicycles on the road, so Song A quickly rides to school. Every time she's late, she climbs over the wall into the school. She has a close and smart friend named Jiho. This guy has had a crush on Song A for a long time but always teases her, saying that without Song A, he wouldn't have escaped being at the bottom of the class, mainly to be close to the person he likes. As a student who is doing okay in class, Jiho is also sometimes pulled away by some female students in the class to tutor them. Ignoring Song A lagging behind, she wonders if she's just walking next to him that she has to be separated to that extent. However, these things are not a big deal at all. Song A has always felt okay with this. Although blessed with natural beauty, Song A is not very good at studying. Well, according to the teachers on top. If I don't know the answer, I'll mark C. The dream of taking the university entrance exam is really far away for Song A. Maybe she'll just go home and inherit the family business as a shaman. At night at school. At this time, a male student, feeling a bit down, lumbered to the men's restroom. While sitting and taking care of business, he suddenly felt a chill down his spine. A female ghost was eyeing him, ready to suck his yang energy. Meanwhile, Song A was dreaming about a prophecy. A little girl told Song A that she would meet a handsome man. "Remember, this man walking against the current belongs to you." Until Song A woke up, she only heard the male student from earlier return, saying there was a water ghost in the restroom. But no one believed him. While walking home with her friend Jiho, Song A noticed a lingering wronged spirit on a billboard. Filled with compassion, she promised herself to help this spirit find peace soon. Because Song A skipped the ritual to go to school, her mother immediately caught her and interrogated her. In times like these, all she needs is to flash a bright smile. Song A then told her mother that she didn't run away this morning. Her mother looks stern and cool like this, but when Song A acts cute, she clearly shows her distress about her daughter. Indeed, she spoils her too much, so she's becoming spoiled. Song A told her mother that her current dream is to go to university and study for a 4-year degree. She doesn't want to stay home and be a shaman. But with Song A's talents, her mother doesn't want her to become a dull knife instead of a sharp one. Song A just wants to be a normal student going to university festivals, rolling on the grass eating scallion pancakes and drinking rice wine. That's what she said. But Song A suddenly stopped and told her mother that she just wanted to dream a little. Well, with her academic ability, it's difficult for her to get into university. Regardless of what Song A wants to do, her mother only advises her not to abandon the rituals to go. That is taboo. Goes to school for 3 days, and in the evenings, Song A performs shamanic rituals to fulfill everyone's wishes. Each person has their own desires and comes here to pray for luck and their own wishes. Only one person caught Song A's attention the most. This person was crying because she loved a man too much. Song A has never been in love, so she advises that when in love, looking at the appearance is enough. She was then asked if the shaman has never been in love before, right? Because of this, Song A kept thinking about it. She went to her friend Jiho and said she didn't like those mushy things because of some heart. She likes handsome guys more, and her friend Jiho felt a sting when he heard that. He asked if he would like a handsome psychopath too. Why does she have such an extreme example? So her friend Jiho said it's not just about being handsome, but there will be other criteria too. Hearing this, Song A started thinking about a handsome guy. Seeing a poor girl crying, she goes to comfort her. Maybe she will fall for him. Her friend Jiho seized the opportunity when he heard that, saying that he's also a bit handsome and he knows how to comfort her too. Too bad Song A doesn't care. You're not my type." Her words were like a fatal blow straight to his chest. That night at home, Song's mother met a guest who brought her grandson. Just by looking at him, she could tell that something was wrong with this guy. After the grandmother and grandson came in to see Song, her eyes lit up because the man in front of her was exactly the handsome type she wanted. Even looking upside down as handsome, she immediately realized that something was wrong. Only people who are about to die have the state of going upside down to the ceiling. She suddenly remembered the prophecy in her dream at school. Could this be the predestined relationship between the two? Gana's grandmother told her that he always has bad luck in his life, making her feel sorry. Such a handsome guy would be a waste to die. It's a waste of talent. Ganyu doesn't believe in superstition, so he doesn't want to say anything. He just comforts his grandmother. Song took this opportunity to ask Ganyu what he would do if there was a strange girl crying on the street. Ganyu frankly said that he would come to her side but doesn't know how to comfort her. Just stand there until they feel okay. And he fits exactly the type that Song wants. She is determined to save this handsome guy at all costs. Anyone who says that being handsome can't be eaten, come and see this. Does Song have any shame left when she sees a handsome guy? Seeing her daughter's man-crazy face, her mother asks who she intends to save. Before, Song, out of kindness, once saved a man who always had spirits attached to him. However, Song still keeps some of these spirits. But that man was followed by so many spirits that he almost dragged Song down to meet King Yama. Her mother said that if she wants to save someone who is on the way to meet King Yama, the price to pay might be Song's life. But what can she do when she's struck by love at first sight with a handsome and dying man? Headache because she doesn't know how to save her dream guy. Song just lies on the desk in class, and her friend Jiho asks her what's wrong. Suddenly, the teacher walks in, announcing to the whole class that there will be a new transfer student today. When he just walked in, everyone had to admire Ganwu's handsome appearance. Song stood up as soon as she saw him, as if wanting the whole class to know that she's obsessed with handsome guys. The teacher asked Song if she knows this friend, so that she wouldn't be criticized for being obsessed with men. Ganwu subtly said that they had met before, but in fact, he didn't recognize who the man-crazy person in front of him was. After going home, Song intended to approach him, but was immediately rejected. He just doesn't want others to misunderstand because of him. But Song feels that this point is like protecting her. Right up her alley, ladies. To the point that even walking with her friend Jiho, she had to exclaim, "He's so cool." I know, he's so charming is more like it. Even if he's about to die, she has to save him. Suddenly, the class monitor, Hee-ji, runs up and grabs Jiho's arm, asking him if he has a tutoring appointment with her today, right? Jiho suddenly looks at Song in surprise. Seeing the two of them being affectionate, she decided to leave them alone. The only thing she cares about right now is Gana's shining face. Ganyu is currently at an archery range, remembering how glorious he used to be. But no one cheers and encourages him like the friends at the training ground now. At school at this time, the weak-stomached classmate was still suffering because of the ghost he met last time. So this time, he tried to ask Jiho to go pee with him. But Jiho was scared, saying no matter how good I am, I wouldn't dare to pee with you. So the classmate took his about to explode butt to the men's restroom and sat in the same spot as last time, thinking he wouldn't meet a ghost this time who knew it would appear right in front of him, immediately sucking away all his yang energy. In the evening, when Ganyu returned home, the wrong spirit on the billboard seemed to go crazy when he saw him. Even though Ganyu saw the signs of bad luck coming his way, he didn't care much. Instead, he only focused on the feeling of archery back then. Coincidentally, Song was also on the road, heading straight towards Ganyu. She saw that the wrong spirit, who was normal before, was now acting like crazy. He was trying to destroy the billboard, as if wanting to kill Ganyu at all costs. But Song didn't know that Ganyu had already calculated his steps and predicted the moment he would die. She became a variable, causing him to panic as well. However, due to his calculations, Ganyu was the one who saved Song and the scene of the two hugging was even given a bit of a firework effect by the director for romance, intending to save Ganyu, but Song became the one who was saved. Ganyu was not grateful at all. Instead, he scolded her for meddling in other people's business. Seeing Ganyu so calm, she didn't know that he had predicted the bad things in advance. However, after that hug, Song's recklessness was ignited. Even if my mother stops me, I'm not afraid to die. She goes to another shaman. asking if there is a way to save someone with bad luck. Song-e knew about this playboy shaman because she overheard her mother talking about him once. She heard that those charm makers earn the most money, so she came here to give it a try. However, the playboy shaman doesn't want to draw a charm for Song-e. Actually, if the playboy shaman draws a charm for her, he's afraid he will be cut by her mother's sword, who doesn't know her Dharma name. But when he sees Song-e asking him to draw a charm for Ganyu, the playboy shaman dares to accept. He even says she's crazy in love. No one is normal when they're in love. The next day, Jiho arrives at school and discovers that the friend who asked him to pee together yesterday has been hospitalized. He keeps muttering that there's a water ghost in the restroom. As for Song-e, because she lost sleep all night drawing a charm for Ganyu, she staggers and almost falls into Gana's arms. But in reality, she falls into Jiho's arms. So she is immediately taken to the medical room, and they even write her name and add the word crazy. Suddenly, the class monitor asks him to go to karaoke. How could Jiho be in the mood to go? Then in class, people are passing letters to each other. The goal is either to hang out with Ganyu or ask for his info. Ganyu doesn't reply to anyone. He just throws the pile of dating requests straight into the trash. When Song-e wakes up, she only finds herself lying in the medical room, along with a note from Jiho next to her saying he left first if she doesn't wake up. Too bad Song-e only remembers that she hasn't given the charm to her crush, so she decides tonight hell come over again. She'll give it to Ganyu later. Song-e's nanny asks if she's not afraid of revealing her face. Even Spider-Man took off his mask when he kissed his lover. So what's the problem with revealing her face before falling in love? That's right, she hasn't even held hands and she's already thinking about kissing him. The nanny then tells Song-e to only reveal half of her face, or her mother will find out and she'll be doomed. Indeed, when a daughter grows up, it's hard to keep her from being obsessed with guys. At this time, Gana's grandmother also came. She was looking forward to seeing where he was. But today only his grandmother came to ask for a charm. Song-e then asked where her grandson was. If he's not here to receive it in person, the charm won't be effective. That's what she said. But she's just using it as an excuse to meet her crush. Ganyu was called here to meet Song-e just like that. Like this time he came. The signs of death are clear on his body, showing that Ganyu seems to be dying from drowning. She immediately prophesied that he wouldn't live for more than a day. In just a moment, bad luck has clung to him like this. However, it can all be solved with a charm. Song-e sincerely wants to save him, but Ganyu thinks she's a scam, taking advantage of his grandmother's trust to sell charms for profit. As someone who doesn't believe in superstitions, Ganyu just ignores the charms that Song-e is trying to give him for free, making her extremely sad. However, Song-e's heart is still set on Ganyu. She tears up her goal of studying for a 4-year university degree. Instead, she spends her time trying to save the handsome guy she just met and likes. So when she gets to school, she looks for any place where drowning could occur, making her friend Jiho wonder if she's holding so many charms to give to the new student, right? Don't give them to the new student, give them to the good student instead, okay? In Song-e's eyes right now, there's only saving Ganyu, so she ignores her friend Jiho's words, to the point that even walking in the hallway, she's embarrassed to look him in the eye. He probably doesn't know I'm a goddess. Suddenly, Song-e noticed something wet on the wall. She followed the trail and found that it led to the men's restroom. Remembering Jiho's wish for a charm for the well-behaved student who fainted and was taken to the hospital, Song-e realized that Ganyu might drown because he encountered something dirty here. So, while the whole class was studying, she sat in the position of the student from yesterday, waiting for the ghost to appear and stick a charm on it. Does she want to die that much? The ghost was controlled and unable to resist, and was told not to suck yang energy and bully others, or she wouldn't help it reincarnate. While scolding the ghost, the bad students walked in, realizing there was someone inside the restroom, so they blew cigarette smoke inside. To avoid being discovered, Song-e told the ghost not to speak, until Ganyu walked inside. The female ghost was activated into evil mode, wanting to suck all of Gana's yang energy. She jumped on his head and started sucking. Even though Song-e didn't want to be discovered, saving her future husband was more important. She used a holy water conversion charm, stuck it on the faucet and sprayed the ghost until it was scared stiff. Being a water ghost but being restrained by water. She also succeeded in saving Ganyu from his first near-death experience. Ganyu asked why she did that. making Song A stammer that it was just to protect him. After causing a ruckus in the restroom, Song A, along with Ganyu and those 3 friends, were summoned to the principal's office for tea. For wasting the school's water, these people were also assigned to clean the school grounds for a week. Just cleaning with her crush made Song A lose her shame. She kept getting close to Ganyu, making him annoyed. The more he disliked it, the more Song A liked it. It's true that the more aloof guys are, the more girls flock to them. It's even better if they're handsome. Meanwhile, the 3 who were punished didn't bother cleaning at all. A strange man nearby was looking at the spirit of the barking white dog, and flicked a spark at the pile of papers while Song A was cleaning on the side. She kept staring at the man who flicked the spark, reproaching him, making her friend Din Ung not understand who she was talking to. It was because of Song A that these guys were forced to clean up. This guy, Din Ung, even beats my daughter. Then Song A quickly said that she came here to clean up for them, so she could avoid almost getting beaten up by this guy Din Ung. Song A was worried, thinking that if she didn't do that, he would really hit her. Coincidentally, Ganyu witnessed the scene just now. He had to admit this girl was really interesting. Going home, Song A immediately added the water ghost to the list of things to watch out for. Her mother walks in, seeing her daughter looking like she's lost her mind over a guy. Her mother asks Song A what she plans to do next. Song A wasn't sure because the water ghost at school seemed quite strong. Her mother then pushed the charm forward. If it's too hard, use external objects for support. Protect the person you like from the outside. It turns out she went to see that Master Hoa. For her daughter's goal, she asked for some charms for her daughter to pursue her crush. So, from the day of community service at school onwards, Song A always tried to find a way to give Ganyu the peace charm. Every time he saw her, he looked at her like she was evil, rejecting her constantly. Out of ideas, Song A could only ask her close friend to get Gana's phone for her. After a fake fall to help her crush get his phone, suddenly, Gana's grandmother also came here to bring some food for everyone, hoping that everyone can help her grandson more. After class, Song A is worried that she can't return the phone to Ganyu. Just as she was asking Jiho, the 2 of them were caught by Gana's grandmother, asking if they were holding her grandson's phone. She just needs to look at the pattern on the back of the phone case to know. Ganyu, because he couldn't find his phone, hurriedly left the class. And his friends started to be curious about Ganyu. They tried to search for information on Instagram and unexpectedly discovered that he is a professional archer. Ganyu, after chasing after Song A and Jiho, he suspected that the 2 of them took his phone, but his grandmother told him that she had found it for him. Taking this opportunity, Song A asked to be friends with Ganyu in front of his grandmother. The first step to win the heart of the person you like is to be friends first. However, Ganyu doesn't like getting involved with anyone, telling his grandmother that these 2 are not his friends. Because he doesn't know them, Song A still doesn't give up when looking straight into Gana's eyes, asking if he wants to go eat together. Meanwhile in class, everyone after searching deeper were surprised with Gana's gold medal that he had achieved. They were wondering why he transferred schools. Then in an article about Ganyu, he was cursed as an arsonist, shamelessly burned down the dormitory at his old school. No wonder he had to transfer from his old school to this one. Jiho and Song A were discussing things when the archery teacher from the other day came by, asking if he is the tall, muscular guy, right? Just looking at him, you can tell he's a good archery seed, but the really good archer here is Ganyu. However, this makes him worried, remembering the old story when he was considered an arsonist. His grandmother comforted him that everything is in the past because he is no longer at that old school. And Song A, after making an appointment with Ganyu and his grandmother for a meal, she immediately ran home to take out the peace charm that she had prepared in advance, excitedly wearing beautiful clothes to meet Ganyu because she is eager to enter the house of the person she likes. Entering Gana's house, he doesn't want to let Song A in when his grandmother is not here. Except he was attacked with enthusiasm, making Ganyu embarrassed. Although Ganyu told Song A to just sit in one place and wait for his grandmother to come back. But with the persistent personality of a girl crazy about men, nothing can stop Song as she excitedly runs around. She was about to run into Gana's room, but luckily he stopped her in time, or all the national secrets would have been revealed. Jiho and his grandmother went to the market to buy food, so they didn't see the scene at home. A moment later, Ganyu brought Song A glass of water. She felt it was a bit hot, so Ganyu hurriedly offered to change it. The 2 of them argued back and forth, somehow spilling the water, making Song-ae angry and pushing Ganyu against the shelf behind. Ganyu suddenly felt a fleeting sense of excitement, thinking she was going to do something to him, but Song-ae only took the roll of paper to wipe up the water. Just then, Jiho and his grandmother came back today. They would probably only eat vegetarian food because their friend Jiho is a vegetarian. The food made by Gana's grandmother is quite delicious. Very suitable for Jiho's taste. He praised that he was raised by a good grandmother. Gana's grandmother recounted that since he was a child, his parents have always been working far away, almost having no time to take care of him, so he has lived with his grandmother since he was little. However, they still keep in touch and come home, so the family relationship is still considered okay. That's what she said, but Gana's expression revealed everything. To comfort him, Song-ae also talked about her own case, that she is also an abandoned child. An adopted child who has been taken in by her current adoptive mother since she was 8 years old. But Song-yu also had to admit that Gana's grandmother's cooking was really delicious, while washing dishes. The grandmother asked Ganyu if he thought Song-ae was a strong girl. Ganyu was just wondering if she was really strong or if she was deliberately acting that way. Jiho suddenly pulled Song-ae into a separate room, asking about whether Song-ae was really adopted or not. He has known her for a long time, but he only knew now, feeling a little sorry for Song-ae. She honestly said that she was really abandoned since she was little. Her biological parents haven't returned to see Song-ae even once since she was 8 years old. Jiho thought she must feel very hurt or weak. But no. Song-ae said she had no reason to be weak. Because whenever someone is weak and reveals it to others, they will be seized and belittled by bad people, looking at them with contempt, so Song-ae doesn't want that. She doesn't want to live being looked down upon by others. These words make Ganyu on the outside look at her with different eyes. Song-ae's current important thing is to find a way to put the peace charm on Ganyu. The two were going to hide it in a box but accidentally dropped it, revealing the photos and gold medals that Ganyu had won. Meanwhile, the archery teacher on this side is remembering the afternoon when he went to meet that potential student. Remembering Gana's face, he wondered if he had met him somewhere before. Remembering for a while, it turned out he was a student at Songbun High School. He had won many gold medals but was ostracized by his friends. When Ganyu was asked why he retired, he just said he was bored with archery, so he gave up. As discussed before, Jiho quickly drew attention to Ganyu so that Song-ae could hide the charm without him knowing. But just as she hid the charm, Song-ae was called by the housekeeper at home, telling her it was time for her ritual. Seeing that it was a bit late, Song-ae quickly rushed, somehow forgetting her bag, causing Gana's grandmother to run out to the street. She didn't forget to thank the Tian New Fairy of Heaven and Earth, making Song-ae surprised. How did she know her identity? Must tell about how Song-ae tried to give the charm. And also being excited when wanting to save her grandson, and also this whiny voice. She only needs to hear it to know who Song-ae really is. However, unlike Gana's grandmother, he doesn't want to be closer to Jiho and Song-ae. The simple reason is that he doesn't like people. The next day at school, the news that Ganyu was an arsonist at his old school quickly spread throughout the school. Song-ae was so engrossed in looking at handsome guys that she didn't know anything until Jiho came to her, telling her not to get close to him anymore because Ganyu had asked Jiho to tell Song-ae not to play with him anymore. But no matter what anyone says, Song-ae's love for handsome guys is still as solid as a tripod. Ganyu currently doesn't know that the fire ghost from that year is still always following him. After returning to class, Song-ae realized that Ganyu was suddenly isolated by the whole school, just because of the rumor that Ganyu was an arsonist who burned down the dormitory. Everyone started to avoid Ganyu. However, he still doesn't bother to pay attention. Only Song-ae and Jiho didn't turn their backs on him. After the meal, Jiho asked Song-ae if she still likes a handsome guy who is considered an arsonist like Ganyu. Song-ae then told about the 2 times he tried to protect her, showing that Ganyu is like a warmer person than his cold appearance. Until Ganyu came home, he was wondering when he saw his grandmother making a pile of vegetarian food. She said she just made a little extra and then brought it to give to some neighborhood friends. But when Ganyu followed her, he discovered that his grandmother had gone to that fortune-telling place, thinking that his grandmother had been scammed by these scammers. So while Song-ae was engrossed in happily eating the food her crush's grandmother cooked, Ganyu walked in, making her startled and quickly covered her face. Although being cursed as scammers who want to take advantage of the elderly, Song-ae only noticed that it seemed like Ganyu was about to die from burning. So the mind to protect the person she likes arises. "Oh, my dear handsome guy, why is your fate so miserable?" Gana's grandmother hurriedly followed, intending to explain. Ganyu took all the blame on himself because of him, his grandmother got involved with these scammers. The next day when he arrived at school, everyone looked at Ganyu as if he were a real murderer. Because he didn't like this atmosphere, Ganyu used the excuse of taking out the trash to avoid seeing his friends. But as soon as he left, everyone started talking again. After Song-ae arrived and didn't see Ganyu, she immediately ran to ask Jiho, only to find out he was at the school's storage room. Song-ae felt that something was wrong because there was a fire ghost always waiting there. While Ganyu was facing a fire in the storage room, the fire ghost appeared in front of him, wanting to burn him alive. Ganyu was not afraid or avoided, he just remembered the scene of that year when he and his classmate Huina passed away. As if to atone for his guilt, Ganyu decided to give up until Song-ae arrived. She was determined to break the door no matter what. If she couldn't break it with a sabin, she'd use an invisible kick. After getting inside, Song-ae started to exorcise the spirit, but this fire demon was too strong. It didn't even flinch at her bronze bell. In a critical moment, his close friend Jiho quickly arrived, pouring water on him because he looked thirsty like those BAK Sola guys, successfully creating a touching scene when Ganyu reached out and took Song-ae's hand for the first time. But Ganyu's bad reputation has been spread throughout the school. He was forced to write a confession at the principal's office because he caused the fire in the warehouse. Song-ae and Jiho tried to explain to the teacher that it was just an accident that Ganyu didn't cause. Seeing himself being protected by Song-ae, Ganyu decided not to explain anything and left the principal's office, making Song-ae run after him and wonder why he didn't explain himself at all. Ganyu asked what evidence there was to show that he didn't do it, although Song-ae continued to try to explain to him not to put up with it. But Ganyu criticized her for being fake. Look at yourself in the mirror and see how fake you are. Ganyu doesn't want anyone to help him at all. Every time she wanted to get close to Ganyu, he would take a few steps back. In the evening, late at night, Ganyu's grandmother still wanted to meet Song-ae to talk. She's the first person after that fire to want to befriend Ganyu. So she honestly said that her boy has always been betrayed. Every time Ganyu wants to build a bridge to connect with someone, that friend will always be the one to ruin that bridge. Which is why he doesn't want to believe in anyone. Since he was little, Ganyu has always had big and small accidents that have injured him many times, even though they've moved countless times. But bad luck still doesn't stop following this poor grandson. She added that Ganyu even smiles in front of her. But she knows that's just because he doesn't want her to worry, keeping her heart at peace. But behind those smiles, she knows how tired Ganyu must be. Every time someone apologizes to Ganyu, he thinks it's his fault. Ganyu's grandmother always tries to apologize to Ganyu just because she believes that doing so will make him feel like he's not a bad person, or that everything is his fault. But this time, she probably can't apologize to Ganyu anymore. Ganyu will really be alone. Turns out from the moment she appeared in front of Song-ae until now, she's always been a wandering soul, while her cold body is lying at home in front of Ganyu. Currently, his grandmother only has one wish, which is to ask Song-ae to grab Ganyu's ear and treat him well. Although she's passed away, she's found the right person to ask, because Song-ae is always ready to save Ganyu at any time. Even if Ganyu is probably God's abandoned child, Song-ae promises Ganyu's grandmother that she will always treat him well and save his life. Ever since Ganyu's grandmother passed away, wandering spirits have always been around him, even at her funeral, except that Song-ae Baogu is here. I'm not afraid of any ghosts. Only the sad guy standing behind me. Ganyu's current situation looks quite pitiful since there's barely anyone at the funeral. Even the catering service provider called him out, saying that providing meals for the funeral requires at least 30 servings. No matter how many people come, he still has to pay for these meals. It's truly suffering. Song-ae doesn't know what to do but try calling her shaman mother to see if she has any solutions. However, her shaman mother is busy performing exorcism at a house believed to be haunted. It looks a bit run down on the outside, but her shaman mother thinks this place can be cleansed of impurities. The landlord insists on asking her shaman mother for help. She's been anxious because the land price hasn't increased compared to the surrounding area. Her shaman mother, with the alias Dong Tianjiangjun, along with her older sister and her troop, began to enter inside and start the exorcism ritual. At Ganyu's funeral, his uncle and aunt also came to pay their respects. Ganyu was about to get the mourning bands to wear on their arms, but they didn't want them, asking if he wanted to wear the chief mourner's band to take all the property. It turns out these people came back only for the inheritance, and crying is just a facade. Seeing these people arguing, Ganyu can only apologize and can't argue back. Song A doesn't like the scene of family infighting. So she steps in between the conversation of that eldest uncle and Ganyu. Don't argue in front of the deceased, advertising to everyone outside that your family is falling apart. The eldest uncle asked if she didn't know that shamans aren't allowed to attend funerals. The presence of a shaman here is no different from a fraud with the current situation. Song A finds the demons outside easier to deal with than humans. Luckily, her friend Diho came, preventing the eldest uncle from arguing at Gana's grandmother's funeral. Meanwhile, her shaman mother is engrossed in performing spells on the haunted land after a dizzying dance of spells. Her senior sister began to open her divine eyes, quickly went to a mound of earth and dug out a small ceramic jar buried underneath, and she smashed that ceramic jar. Inside was the evil spirit. The manifestation of a demon has appeared. The senior sister quickly called everyone out. Her shaman mother used herself as a lure to have the evil spirit stab straight into her, protecting the people performing the ritual with her. After leaving that house, she used her blood to seal the door. After helping Ganyu chase those people away, Diho wondered why Diho knew to come here, because the person who always follows you from behind is here. How could he not know? However, Diho only said that Song A was working nearby and saw it, so she reported it suddenly. The uncle hurriedly ran back to inform Ganyu that his parents were also coming soon. Song A also had to admit that Gana's family was really unstable. She blamed herself that if she wasn't a shaman, Ganyu wouldn't be blamed and treated like this, right? Diho encouraged her, even if you weren't a shaman, you'd still be blamed. They're all kids. Then he handed Song A bottle of water, saying the shaman should go home first. Her shaman mother, after successfully retreating, she told the landlord that it's already lucky that only 3 people have died here. However, the landlady still thinks her shaman mother is a scammer. She got angry and said, "Whoever can solve the problem here is the real scammer," and returned the ceremony money to the landlord. Don't call anyone here to perform exorcism anymore. The senior sister told the landlady that the demon inside is not an ordinary evil spirit. If you're lucky, it will leave on its own. Even if shamans come here, they can't control it. As everyone was leaving, her shaman mother picked up an earring at her feet that she had noticed earlier. It seems that someone sacrificed themselves to the demon in this place. The woman with that earring is currently wandering in the city. A boy just passed her. He was immediately hit by a car and died on the road, in order to ensure that Ganyu would not encounter any danger. Song A called Song Tu Hoa, asking him to draw 50 talismans for her temporarily. It's like gangsters gonna rob. Song Tu Hoa told Song A, "If you like it, come and take my talisman drawing course. I'm too hungry, so I'm selling the course like those YouTube teachers who sell courses for hundreds of millions. Easy money. If you think it's too expensive, don't buy it. Bye-bye." As for Ganyu, after returning home, the image of his grandmother Hien Tu always appears in his mind. He can only apologize for being a grandson who couldn't protect her. As for her shaman mother, after returning, being pierced through the body by the evil spirit earlier made her a little sore. However, she's still conscious. She told her senior sister she doesn't know what crazy person would sacrifice themselves to increase the power of the demon. It's awkward. The love-struck girl rushes in, and the demon appears in front of her shaman mother. She asks her mother how she can help her save the man of her life. She told her shaman mother and her mother's senior sister that Ganyu needs to be safe for 21 days. During that time, she will try to ward off bad luck, turn Ganyu into a normal person. Seeing her mother hesitate, Song A turns to flatter her godmother. "I'm a demon here. Do you have any way to help me save my first love?" Even her shaman mother is helpless. It's true that girls grow up and become demons for the sake of men. Her godmother told Song A, "You have to protect what's precious to you with your own hands." Then she gave her a book on subduing demons. Each age has 4 characters that she spent the whole evening reading. It probably takes 10 years to learn this whole book on subduing demons. Despite the exhaustion, Song A still tried to go to the library to learn how to exorcise Ganyu, to the point that her friend Jiho thought the earth was turning upside down. Song A suddenly voluntarily studies. The two of them walked and talked. "Ganyu probably won't go to school today, right? He talks beautifully. Can I ask you for a favor? That coach is just like a haunting spirit. He wants you to save him, but it's useless because Ganyu has no one by his side." Song A decided to go to his house using the excuse that she forgot something, but in reality, she wanted to ask about Ganyu. Then she invited him to have a meal with her. "I'm good at washing rice. Maybe if you see it, you'll want to eat right away." Ganyu saw that Song A seemed to want to linger. He told Song A to go back if she couldn't find her things, but she suddenly froze because a demon was sitting smugly in this house. That is a person. Seeing Song A teary-eyed, Ganyu immediately chased after her, but couldn't find her. Only his friend Jiho was standing in front of his house. Jiho gave him the key to the archery training room. It was the coach who asked Jiho to give it to Ganyu, knowing that he was the archery prodigy from years ago. Her shaman mother, after taking the earring to the feng shui seller, she asked for information about its owner, and found out that this Ko Yomaha is a famous person online. The seller told her shaman mother, "It's the first time I've seen a shaman be famous like this." Just as she finished speaking, Yomaha appeared after evading her shaman mother with such a beautiful face. No wonder she can't be famous as a shaman. As soon as Song A returned home, She knelt down and asked her mother for a way to save her first love. Her shaman mother is also helpless with Song-ae. Your knees are really cheap. Because Ganyu has been possessed by a suicidal ghost. But it's still a distance away from Ganyu. Her shaman mother said that there are still 2 days to save Ganyu, reminding Song-ae not to be careless. If that ghost sticks to Ganyu like a shadow, he's definitely gonna die. She asks Song-ae if that friend has any reason to keep living. He has to want to live first, otherwise it's useless even if Song-ae wants to save him. Meanwhile, at Gana's house, his uncle came to visit today just to get a memorial photo of his late mother. Turns out, in the family, this uncle is the only one who really cares about Gana's grandmother. Luckily, there are so many photos of the 2 of them here. After the uncle left, Ganyu looked back at the photos his grandmother took with him from childhood to adulthood. A smile gradually appeared on his face, making the suicidal ghost take a few steps back. Meanwhile, Song-ae, for the sake of her first love, listened to her mother and drew talismans on herself, using her heart to wish him peace and ward off evil spirits. Just need to get close to Ganyu, and hearing about getting skinship with the person she likes, Song-ae doesn't hesitate to use her body as a talisman, just to help Ganyu be safe. So she started pulling out the helper in the house to try acting it out. But when she met Ganyu, what she got back was a cold look with the suicidal ghost up to the bus. Song-ae touched the back of Gana's neck, making the suicidal ghost take a few steps back. Ganyu turned around and asked what she was doing. Song-ae told him to see which of her hands just touched him. Then she raised her middle finger. Jiho told Ganyu to turn back. Don't let it dirty your eyes so early. Song-ae just realized she just flipped off her crush. How innocent. Just arrived at school, Song-ae and Jiho saw those boys gathered together. The boy who previously rumored that Ganyu burned the dormitory felt a little remorseful because he misunderstood Ganyu. It turned out that last time he went to the principal's office, this boy heard Coach Jong arguing with the teacher that the news reporter spread about Ganyu burning the school was false. If he burned anything, it was only the hearts of female students. He burned my heart already. Those girls came in and punched this boy's mouth a few times. It's true that a bumpkin who goes far away deserves to be ganged up on. Song-ae came to hold Gana's hand to encourage him. Now that the misunderstanding has been resolved, it's good. She just looked at the suicidal ghost when Ganyu patted her hand, seeing the ghost just stay there. Song-ae has found a way to both chase away ghosts and have skinship with the person she likes. Just let the ghost stick close to Ganyu. She immediately appeared as if to say, "Get out of here, this handsome guy is mine." Song-ae told her friend. Even if she is hated, she will accept it. As long as she can do what she is doing now, it's good. So where does Ganyu go? Song-ae follows him, realizing she's being followed. Ganyu asked why she always follows him, but Gana's direction is not towards home. Song-ae asked and found out he was going to the charnel house. So they both went there to visit his grandmother together. Song-ae burst into tears, saying his grandmother was truly a pious person. She doesn't like just giving flowers, you have to put a gold medal around her neck for her to smile. Looking at his grandmother's portrait, Ganyu remembered how happy she was every time he won a gold medal, seeing Ganyu as having a goal to keep living. The suicidal ghost has gradually left him, making Song-ae unable to be happier because what she did had an effect. Arriving at the archery training room, Ganyu pulled out the sports bow that he hadn't touched for a long time. The old feelings seemed to be rushing back into him. Assistant Coach Jong has thus saved a person from the brink of death. The next day at school, Song-ae was happy because she was put in the same group. But when she was put in a group of 5 people, Song-ae was overwhelmed by what she saw from her curly-haired friend Dugon. This girl is haunted by a nasty child ghost, which is one of the 3 types of ghosts to avoid. That is a child ghost. One suicidal ghost is already tiring. Now there is another child ghost. Song-ae doesn't know what to do. When leaving, Teacher Jong came to Ganyu and asked if he had just done archery last night. He excitedly asked how it felt to hold the bow again. Then he scolded him for not cleaning the archery room yet. Ganyu was told to go there to clean everything, and although he didn't understand why, he still went to wipe the floor as Coach Jong said. Actually, this was just an excuse for the coach to drag Ganyu to the training room, starting to talk about his journey of how he was dumped by a girl. Archery is the same. If you like it, then slowly give it up. Don't give it up all at once. Even if it's a breakup, you should be a little polite and then hand the bow to Ganyu. Helping him find the feeling of archery alone, it can be said that even after a period of not shooting, Ganyu still shoots so well. Song had discovered that in the moment he held the bow and aimed, Ganyu wanted to live a few more parts. He must really like archery, so I went home. Song-ae is thinking of more ways to make some talismans, and also learn how to draw talismans that can help her classmate Du-gyeon avoid being haunted by the child ghost. The demons should just wait. I will help all my friends alone. Early the next morning, Song had just arrived at class and she was startled by Ganyu. Suddenly today he came earlier than usual. Song-ae stopped by to say good morning, asking if he was going to archery, so the two of them went up to the rooftop to talk together. Ganyu asked if she's been following him a bit too much lately. Why does she keep following him? She bluntly replied that he appeared where she came. She was curious about something she wanted to ask. That is, what is that feeling of archery like? Although in the old days when he was still slandered as an arsonist, however, just raising the bow. Ganyu can put aside all the worries. He really likes that feeling of archery. Song heard it and found him very commendable, and unconsciously stroked Gana's head like a child. Adults are supposed to protect children, but he protects himself. Song said she wanted to treat him a little better, recalling the time Song had tried to make him happy. Ganyu suddenly didn't want to die anymore. The suicidal ghost just dissipated into smoke. Seeing this, Song had jumped up and down with joy. She wanted to high-five Ganyu to celebrate. But for some reason she tightly grasped Gana's hand. But he didn't hate it and even pulled Song aback. That way, Ganyu has a new purpose for himself to continue living. From the moment she held hands with the person she liked, Song's mood was like being on cloud 9. Let anyone who comes be told to find the love whore to cling to. Even her shaman mother wants to sprinkle salt. Admittedly, this love demon makes Song lose all reason. And Ganyu is no different from her, just going to archery, and he also remembers the moment he held the hand of someone's daughter. As a result, he shot a few points away from the bullseye. It's true that beautiful girls like to cause nostalgia for other people's children. Then, Song and her shaman mother went to clear the red soil and daughter around the land where the devil resides. Seeing her shaman mother saving people for the sake of the people like this, Song keeps praising her because what she's doing is no different from what she's doing with Ganyu. The number of days that she has saved Ganyu from the brink of death is 13 days already. Just 8 more days and Song can completely remove the bad luck that has always clung to her Greg. What kind of night is it that 2 streamer brothers who are bored with life stop by while she's gonna save people? They take advantage of the fact that this place has ghosts and demons to earn some interaction. These 2 names are so stupid that they intend to open the doors of the haunted houses, making her shaman mother unable to watch and come to stop those 2 names. Seeing a Fap Su in front of her, these 2 names became even more excited because it seemed like the rumors here were true. The streamer who was bored with life asked her shaman mother to go inside with him. He believed that with the presence of the 4 of them, the ghost would definitely be afraid. Her shaman mother didn't want to and told these guys that they were idiots. She wouldn't let them go inside, because once they went in there, these 2 would definitely be the first to die. Seeing themselves being threatened with death, these 2 became even more arrogant, sneering at her shaman mother. Song found it annoying. She immediately grabbed her shaman mother's knife and said that this was a real knife. Let me take you on a tour of the haunted house. So she wanted to swing it around a bit, making the 2 of them so scared that they fell backward. They almost got cut off their family line. Her shaman mother also praised her, saying she was truly her daughter. They thought these 2 were scared, but no. When her shaman mother and Song had just left, the 2 who were tired of living opened the door of the haunted house, asking everyone to give them a like and a heart so they would be motivated to make videos. It's just that they won't live long enough to ask people to subscribe to their channel. The streamer then found a ring on the ground. When he picked it up, he seemed to be possessed. The friend holding the camera next to him thought his friend was doing a trick. But when he zoomed in, he only saw that their lives had come to an end. The next morning, according to the book on exorcism, besides amulets, Song could give him something that has an impact on his eyes, nose, and lips. She immediately thought of giving him lip balm with a talisman to protect Ganyu. It's just that, on the way to school, she didn't know how to give it to him naturally. Suddenly, Ganyu exclaimed, "The weather today is really nice." Song immediately had an idea, using the excuse that the weather lately might dry out Gana's lips. Worried that his lips will crack, Song secretly applied lip balm to him. It's just that seeing Gana's lips makes Song a little stunned. Luckily, there's a reason to give it. It's just that on the bus to school, Song feels extremely embarrassed, because who suddenly gives used lip balm to the person they like? These 2 friends don't know what she's having a headache about. Ganyu was about to comfort her when Song grabbed his hand. She thought Jiho was trying to tease her. Being held by the hand by a beloved handsome guy like this is too good for this morning. But when she arrived at school, Song discovered that the child ghost was still following her classmate Du Gion. Fortunately, the amulet she gave to Ganyu worked, preventing this child ghost from getting agitated. It's just that when she turned around, she felt like she was playing some kind of intense game with Ganyu. But looking at his face, he doesn't seem to mind, but even likes it. The weather today looks really nice. At mealtime, Jiho exclaimed that he felt hurt in this group of three. It's true that he was sidelined by Song-a just because of his help. It's true that as soon as you have a new friend, you abandon your old one. Ganyu feels a little sorry for him, but Song-a doesn't care. She doesn't care about those immature friends who are jealous of Ganyu. Just as she was about to leave, Song-a's classmate arrived. Opposite her, there's also another classmate. But it seems like he's being bullied, but no one cares. During the lunch break, Song-a saw the bullied friend being dragged and talked to by two classmates. Because Song-a saw the adorable white puppy ghost, she kept looking at it and smiling. Just then, her two friends Ganyu and Jiho passed by. Seeing her keep looking at those three people and smiling, and even exclaiming how adorable. It seems like something is not right here. So after a while, Jiho came to Song-a, giving her some words of wisdom. You like Ganyu because he's handsome and good at archery, right? Song-a didn't deny it. Jiho wondered why she thought that bullying kid Jinung was handsome and adorable too. It's true that people who can't see ghosts often misunderstand. Even his friend Ganyu. For some reason, he also went to the restroom, seeing that Jinung guy smoking and bullying his friends. What's so adorable about him? Seeing Ganyu coming to him, Jinung thought he wanted to smoke too, so he offered him one. Ganyu really doesn't understand what Song-a finds adorable about him. And Jiho was enlightened by Song-a too. Actually, what she finds adorable is Jinung's white puppy named Bocy Bok-I. That puppy is very adorable and won't harm Ganyu. To make Ganyu feel more comfortable, Jiho chased after him to talk about Song-a. How the archery coach is always like a haunting spirit, just being a pain, luring him back to the path of archery. However, archery isn't a bad thing. So Jiho also joined Ganyu. It's just that he doesn't know how to hold the bow correctly, so Ganyu starts demonstrating the movements. It's just that Jiho doesn't have enough strength, so he keeps shooting down and cracking it. Ganyu then asked Jiho what he wanted to say earlier. About the smile that's always on Song-a's face. She used to be very lonely and didn't have any friends at school. The smile on Song-a's face is because Jiho taught her. So he felt guilty. Saying that Song-a doesn't always smile just because she doesn't know what to do. Jiho also admitted that he has a crush on Song-a. He will use every trick in the book to make Song-a like him. Song-a and her mother continue to perform the ritual at the haunted house. Except this person is thinking about her handsome crush. Her shaman mother remembers the shaman she used to work with, to the point that the two of them forget that they are performing a ritual. The mood of the two of them is not very good today, so her godmother invites Song-a to go home, and casually asks how her daughter's love life is going. Song-a feels that her love is like Spider-Man and MJ. One person hates Spider-Man and one person hates shamans. It's true that she doesn't know how to make Ganyu not hate shamans. Unexpectedly, Ganyu appears on their way back, asking if the shaman that his grandmother often goes to can show him her real face. A sudden situation and an awkward situation. Ganyu just wants to prove that the friend he knows at school is really not a shaman as rumored. Except in front of him is Song-a. Her godmother, to protect her daughter, immediately scolds Ganyu. How can my fairy daughter let people like you admire her beauty? Your friend's business has nothing to do with my daughter. Ganyu feels that it is also right, so he intends to leave. Ganyu texts Song-a asking if the two of them can meet. Seeing the message appear on her side, Song-a, to protect her identity, shouts, "Ganna's eyes must not look into my eyes, but must look down at the ground. She only did that much, but you cried so much. She only did that much, but you cried so hard." She doesn't care if Ganyu is hurt. She will live her own life. To compensate her daughter, her godmother bought her a new set of clothes. Go, my child. Go and meet the love of your life. Being supported by her mother, Song-a, without any shame, runs back to where he is. The son she misses day and night. She also texted back asking for the address of where Ganyu is. After arriving at Dugon Park, Song-a apologizes for not being able to reply to his message sooner. Now everything is alright. But as bad luck would have it, all the lights in the park suddenly went out. The two sat together in the dark, talking back and forth about the weather today. When there is no light, wandering spirits begin to approach Ganyu, wanting to harm him just because he has an attractive G-spot energy. To make those negative energies that attract wandering souls disappear, Song-a then tells about her fear of the dark. At that time, as long as his hand has a little warmth, he will feel much better. She just held Ganna's hand, while remembering how she was also comforted and held hands by her mother that year. She felt those things looked so warm. Ganyu also tells about the morning when he talked about Song-ae smiling at his friends in class. Those smiles are like a weakness for bad guys to do worse things to Song-ae. He doesn't want her to have to face things like that. Song-ae sees Ganyu is worried about her. She couldn't help but hug Ganyu tightly. Don't just think about painful pasts anymore. From now on, nothing bad will happen to you anymore. I'm here now and I'm really warm. When the lights come back on, the two suddenly feel embarrassed with each other. So from that night on, the two started smiling more openly at each other. Even riding their own bicycles together was caught by their friend Jiho. It's been a long time since Ganyu felt that life looked so beautiful. Before, he climbed walls with his best friend, and now he climbs walls with his crush. It's true that this life is really living with Song-ae. Just then, the archery teacher saw the two of them holding hands and running. It's truly an idol-like romance movie. And Song-ae's mother at this time comes to see Song Tu-hoa. She wants to know the whereabouts of Yomaha, a shaman who specializes in doing evil deeds. What is she planning with Diho? Song Tu-hoa is originally acquainted with the shaman mother, so he calls her. It seems that Yomaha knew in advance that the shaman mother would call her, telling Song Tu-hoa that what she does is none of her business. Ganyu, after being hugged by Song-ae yesterday, he has also decided on his path and tells Coach Jung, "From now on, I will continue to pursue this archery," thinking that he has found a peaceful and warm place for himself. But when night comes, taking advantage of the fact that Song-ae's mother has not come to the haunted house to perform the ritual, the shaman Yomaha speaks to Song-ae. "I am another shaman invited by your mother to help exorcise evil spirits." So while the two are performing the exorcism, Ganyu, because he was given a fitness test by the coach, which is to run up to the haunted house and then return, otherwise he will be punished. But he accidentally sees Song-ae here in a shaman's outfit. After seeing Song-ae going up to the field with the magician who had cleaned him, Ganyu suddenly felt like he was betrayed because he was here in the form he hated the most. Remembering the good things that Song-ae did to me, Ganyu felt like everyone in the world was deceiving him, thinking that you can hold the warm hands of others. But in the end, it's just a false dream for happiness. But seeing Ganyu like this also made her cry in her heart. The bad students at school saw that they were dumbfounded, so they immediately went out to bully. He said that if he wanted to fight, he would leave it for tomorrow, but these people immediately acted without thinking. Ganyu didn't know what he had to do in his life to constantly be treated unfairly like this anymore. "If you hate me, just hate me. Why do you have to treat me like that? How pathetic I have to be before you let go." The other bullies were evil for a while. Until Song-ae arrived, he only saw evil spirits circling around him. That would catch him at any time. Seeing that, Song-ae sat down next to him and apologized. More unexpectedly, she took the rice salt and sprinkled it around and told Ganyu, "What I'm chasing away isn't you." From the beginning, she didn't want to hide it just because she hated the magician too much. Because he was previously slapped by the same magician. All the black chase would come to Gana's side since he was very young. Ganyu thought that Song-ae took advantage of that without joking with her. He still didn't believe it and asked how many more words were lies to him. Meanwhile, the godmother and the flower prince came to the house and haunted it. Janjin whispered all kinds of charms and began the ritual. Try to seal the demon slayer inside. After the ceremony was over, the god's mother called Song a forever and did not immediately turn around to suspect the flower prince. He looked at it as if he knew that the two people were going to blame him for not coming, when he heard Song's phone ringing inside the house. Seeing her daughter's moody and disillusioned face, she recounted when she was still in that abandoned house. The fact that I am a magician has also been exposed. Ganyu, when he was at home, was engrossed in erasing the charms drawn on his photos and remembered. "But I want to be by your side for just 5 more days. No matter what she hates or scolds, she will accept it. It's true that the love of saving the head is real." As for the god's mother, she couldn't sleep all night because of the sealing of the house. Thinking back, the flower prince said that he didn't know which crazy person did this, killing 100 people alive just to summon the evil god. Early in the morning when the prince woke up, he asked if he had met the person on the phone yesterday. This is the magician who was there yesterday to worship Song-ae. Mother God asked, only to see that the two of them had danced together. She was originally a famous evildoer, but she danced against her. The prince believed that Song-ae would become an extremely great magician. It turns out that seeing a ghost like Song A is not a kind of talent. It's like a kind of prayer, like a magician. She also possessed the same ability. The next day, when the baby had just left the house, as usual, Song A still followed after him, but his friend felt that there was something very strange between these two. So the lovers had just finished arguing. When it came to the meal, even my friends advised the two of them to do it, but no one would bear the test. Deho also advised to at least state the reason for the quarrel. But the friend who hates soy sauce talks about making people say what they hate is cruel. At all costs, Song A had to drag his two friends to the rooftop and talk. She admitted to both of them that she was indeed a magician, as her classmates said. From elementary to high school, Song A follows a self-study program. But from the beginning, she didn't want to lie about being a magician. But because she hated her, she tried to hide it from everyone. As for the thing that Deho was curious about the two of them quarreling, it was because last night Ganyu found out that she was a magician. Ganyu asked Song A question. Why do you want to be friends? You are being yelled at. If you want to, you don't need a reason. Hearing this, he immediately left. Deho advised Song A to say that she wanted to protect him for 21 days. But if you keep saying that, it's no different from clearly threatening him. On the way home, Song A still saw the childish ghost still clinging to her classmate's feet, coincidentally passing a madman who lost his child. She saw her friend's gaze due to the Jinn and immediately ran back and grabbed her friend's hair. Cursing her is the one who took her child. Because Jen doesn't understand what's going on, Song A tries to let that childish ghost leave his friend safe. It's true that the chess man is busy after drawing the chess and it's time to go to his best friend. My mother once told me that child ghosts are not very harmful. Just coax it, but if you can't coax it, it will be a disaster due to genes. So that the child is not affected by the child. Song A quickly came to grab your hand, but he couldn't make you stop being affected by the ghost. She was worried about the wound on her hand, but she told her it was okay. So to learn more about that ghost, but I asked her friend because her genes allowed her to come to the house to play. My friend thought that if she wanted to learn about the skill of making PowerPoints at the top of the ceiling drama, it would be okay goat. So suddenly there was a reason to go to the house of the Jinn to see. This friend's house is full of dolls. She asked, but what impressed him? But as soon as he turned around, he saw that the child ghost had a red thread linked to another doll in the house. It turns out that the ghost is not attached due to genes, but just another doll. She started paying the price to buy this Pachika doll. However, a person who wants to spend money to buy a child due to genes does not want to. But A is not qualified to talk with money like that. So she was immediately expelled without mercy. Ganyu, after returning home to bandage his wounds, remembered that Song A was trying to grab his hand like that. There was some kind of conspiracy. Think back to the times when she tried to skinship with me. He realized that it was all a waste spell from the beginning, but he was already a magician. Currently, she is having a headache about not knowing how to get the doll from her friend to reduce the power from the child ghost. It was today that it hurt her Ganyu. The flower prince heard it but immediately knew that the charm on his body had run out of effect. Now I don't know how to protect you. And Ganyu, after returning home, also threw away Song as lip balm like that, which scolded her very much. The childish ghost on the human body due to the gene suddenly lost control from the day before. The next day when he went to school, he seemed to want to disturb the whole class, affecting his stomach and causing him to bleed. But I must definitely buy a doll from a gene. Every age when she went to the sink to ask for a hand wash, she was thrown water in her face. When I came to the library, I was cursed as a noisy thing of all kinds and needed to wrinkle. But I realized that the child was about to cry, so she had to try her again to see how it worked. The grumpy-headed person hugged Song A again. Maybe I don't know you, but you've always used spells on me before, right? It's okay to just hug like this, right? Suddenly the child ghost screamed. Song A burst into tears and tried to hug him, but Ganyu turned around and helped her. She realized that the humanoid charm had lost its effect with Ganyu. From now on, she could no longer protect the person she liked. After arriving at the hospital, Jiho's friend was curious but only told that it was due to bad luck. We have to quickly find another way to indirectly protect the Ganyu. After all, Song A originally wanted to be an important part of the person she liked. The sadness is over. But A regained her spirit first, determined to study Ganyu with the letter of the fairy heaven and earth. Because there was no family member, Mr. Zhang stopped by to visit. He also offered to pay the fee. Just say thank you, don't be shy. The first person to pay up to 1,000,001 to be a teacher is also painful. The price to pay for getting a loo with students is a bit expensive. And Song A went home and thought about how to get rid of the child ghost. Suddenly, a customer came to beg to save the girl who was on the street this morning. I thought she had been possessed by some kind of demon. But if you look at it, if you don't have a mind like this, what demon can haunt you? They still have to wonder why the client is like this. Suddenly realized that this person needed his child. But when I tried to ask, I found out that it was a doll. She began to describe the doll's appearance more closely. It was exactly what this psychotic aunt was looking for. Now I know how to stop this ghost. So she immediately ran to Dun's friend's house. She thought she was cosplaying, but she said she was a magician. Ganyu is currently unable to practice archery due to a wound in the west last time. He had just returned to the dressing room when he saw Jiho answering his phone. He stammered and said that it must be some kind of foreigner. Ganyu didn't say much and snatched the phone. Jiho went out and heard only the person on the phone wishing him unhappiness. He asked curiously. Ganyu told me that a friend named Hina in the fire a few years ago was his friend. Ganyu advised Jiho to keep his distance from him, otherwise he would be chased like that. But this side tried to explain to her friend because of the Dun. Say this doll is haunted by a childish ghost. Should she have given Song a first, would she have gotten 1,000,000 yuan? She began to talk about the symptoms that this doll caused, such as insomnia, chronic headaches. Because Dun will not die like other people. But I advised him to give up the doll. From now on, she will be friends with Du Dun. Seeing that Song A made such a suggestion, Du Dun suddenly didn't know why Song A was so decisive. In Song A at this time, it is extremely powerful. She didn't say much but snatched Du Dun's doll. She just asked if the appearance at the school was all fake. It must be like that. Now she knows that the origin of this doll is a friend Dun once bought. Her mother saw that she was angry, so she threw it away, but was picked up by a mentally ill woman. It is possible that the child ghost haunted the doll as a living being. Seeing that the child looked miserable like this, what else would he do in the world? As soon as he got home, his friend Ji Ha suddenly told Song A that he would make a humanoid mannequin for her. Just because he saw the person he liked, he died unjustly. Ji Ho will probably feel that someone is wronged for the rest of his life. It's true that when in love, sometimes it's enough just to see the person you love happy. Remember Song as advice. Jido needs to give Ganyu something to stay at home, which makes him a little worried about his own toy. But in the end, because it had enough eyes, nose and mouth, Ji Ho gave it away. Bao Ganyu took away the name and hugged him and whispered such perverted words. Come on, when you're not busy, call me. But tell me that the boots are precious. Meanwhile, Song A constantly searched for the woman who lost her child pushing a cart on the street, returning the doll to her. Ganyu also started to get better when he returned to his daily life, starting to clean his house again. After a day of searching, Song A also found the mentally ill mother near Gana's house. Seeing the mother who lost her child on the side crying, Ganyu stood there exactly like the question that Song A had asked him before. If a stranger was crying alone on the street, she just hoped that that person would come to her side to eat or just stand next to her. Ganyu is like a destiny arranged by heaven to meet Song A. Seeing Ganyu looking at her, the other mother stopped crying a little. It wasn't until he left that Song A approached and complimented the stroller so beautifully. After speaking, she immediately distracted the mother and slowly placed the doll in the cradle. Until the mother returns, the red lead thread seems to turn everything around into a scene where the mother and daughter are really enjoying the feeling of happiness. Now I know why the boy hasn't left yet. Because he had found his true mother in this world. Although everything is fake, the love between the two is real. But A has succeeded in helping Ganyu eliminate another threat. But when he left, Song A was suddenly frightened when he saw that the item he gave to Ganyu was thrown out of the yard. While she was crying thinking that she was not paying attention anymore, Ganyu came to her side and covered her umbrella. After bringing Song A into her house, she discovered that the photos of the two grandchildren on the table had traces of the spell that had been removed by the Ganyu. She immediately realized that someone had deliberately harmed Gana's grandmother. These sad images that he tried to erase were the 49-day charm. Surely after drawing a picture of that person, after 49 days his grandmother will die. But I told you to burn these photos to get rid of the curse. Ganyu was just a person who wanted to live a peaceful life with his grandmother. I didn't think that person would come to disrupt such a group, but I was curious to know who the person Ganyu was talking about was. He said it was the same person that Song A danced with the other night. She painted these photos. Song A was remembering that the Flower Prince had talked about Jianghua's plan. But Ganyu was thinking that Song A and she were teaming up to play with him. He bowed to the gun and begged the fairy heaven and earth. Although she knew that she didn't believe me, she still said that she had only met the magician for the first time in that abandoned house. At a cafe near the school, the class president was doing his homework when Jiho stopped by. Accidentally touching Hee-ji made her feel excited, happy to be sitting next to her crush. Suddenly, Jiho saw the glow outside and ran out, making Hee-ji curious. Jiho tells her the reason is to touch Ganyu. According to the current plan, Jiho still has to follow Ganyu like a human, so that he doesn't encounter the influence of other eyes. After following Ganyu to deliberately make contact, he discovered that he was standing in front of someone's door. I thought it was an old friend's house, but it was my father's house. It seems that his family is not very close to each other. However, after arriving at the place where her bones were stored, she slowly turned the jar for her bones. Seeing that behind the box there was a talisman like that so that Gana's grandmother could not be collected. Returning home, Song Aileen told the god's mother. The Flower Prince realized that the charm was something that could tell a soul to become a demon. But had just told the godmother that the person who used this type of amulet was the sorcerer Zonghua. Since she was the one who drew the charms on the pictures of the Ganyu in the past, he had just come to ask her to remove those charms that the person himself was leading into the house. When she put the charm on Gana's head, she discovered that the amulet was in his house, so he was temporarily at peace like this. And Song A at home is focusing on drawing a new type of magic charm. The Flower Prince saw that she seemed to have a talent for charm drawing. Turning to the godmother that she was a bottom treasure. After drawing the charm, Song A lit it and began to pray to perform the ritual of removing the curse of the spring locket. When she had just finished the ceremony, she turned on the phone and saw a missed call. At Gana's house, the Songflower magician wanted to quickly take away the amulet that Jiho had given to Ganyu. She asked for the key to enter the house under the pretext of purifying the filth, and directly walked around and discovered the robot that Jiho gave him. I was about to leave when Song A was already here, cursing her as a cruel thing. It was only by being harmed by Ad that Song Hua realized that Song A was the one who gave this thing to Ganyu. But Ad told him not to let this thing leave because it was a talisman. The two of them had their own affairs, so they planned to let Ganyu out. But he constantly harasses me that I can do things that ordinary people can't do. What is she? Song A can also use supernatural powers, so he can also overcome Song Hua. She just turned off the phase a little, and told Ganyu to go out so that the two of them could talk privately. Meanwhile, at the god's mother's house, the talisman that killed her earlier burned her to take her blood. See if she can get close to the wish that the flower made when she burns the paper containing the talisman. Appearing above in front of everyone is all the killing. Returning to Song A, she asked the lawyer if the reason why she came here was not to purify the photos, was it right? There is no magician who goes to purify filth without bringing holy water or any holy relics. What she had come here to do was just to curse her, to make her and him a new sacrifice by burning a picture of the two of them. After hearing it all, Ganyu decided to burn those talismans with his own hands. He didn't want her dirty hands to touch his photo. Song Hua, because there was nothing more to do here because Ganyu had done it for her. She gently soared, telling him that he was a soul who would die soon and was about to help her fulfill her wish. Song A suddenly ran after her curiously, asking why she kept talking about a dying soul while Ganyu was still alive and healthy there. It's a nickname for people who have died, not a living person. Suddenly, there was a prayer in the sky that struck directly at the two flowers. Now she understood why she had to do these things. Just because she could sacrifice 100 lives to the devil, she spared no expense to harm Ganyu and his grandmother. Song A felt sorry for a magician who possessed the same ability as Song Hua. But a magician cannot become a worshipper of the devil. She was angry and couldn't say anything. She could only grab her buttocks and run away. Now there are only 2 days left until Song A can help Ganyu get rid of the 21-day death wish. From then on, she would no longer have to worry about helping Ganyu escape from the magician's wishes. Meanwhile, Ganyu at home was remembering what Song A said. "You're much stronger than you look." But she told him that if she were you, she would definitely hate a magician. Ganyu blamed himself for being the one who should have been the one who hated him. "You are really an idiot." Although she was prevented by Song A, she took over the soul of the Ganyu. The crazy woman still didn't give up. Nothing could stop her from summoning demons to this world. The madwoman began to break the outer seal. It only takes one more soul to be killed, and the demon keeper can be summoned. She took her own blood, put on the talisman and cut off the head of the wooden statue like that, wanting to sacrifice yourself to the devil. The next day at school, Gana's eyes are waiting for Song A to skinship with him. But where was his friend Jiho, who kept encroaching on to touch his hand? Seeing these two people in love with each other, the school class began to be jealous because they thought that Jiho liked Ganyu. Questioning these two boys should not have such somewhat intimate actions at school. And since her friend Jojin knew that Song A was a magician, this friend began to pull out her pile of photos and ask Song A which photo had a ghost. Seeing this friend's ability is extremely cool, Ganyu was about to approach Song A when his friend Jojin robbed him. Use your new friend to go ghost hunting together for a bit. So Song A also had to obey. Take a single step and show her where the ghost is. He was just a silhouette of the squirrel, but after a while, an evil spirit began to appear on the training ground. Song A immediately gestured. Catch Jiho skinship with the draw flag to ensure his safety. But the ghost still didn't go away. But it gestured even more. Jiho and Ganyu clung to each other even more as if the two of them were really lovers. It's a little bit of a violent collision with each other. But after a while, Song A noticed that something was wrong in the photo her friend took. Unexpectedly, there was a group of demons on the field without eyes, nose, mouth and hands. Also known as faceless ghosts. Because he was too worried, Song A clapped his hands repeatedly to let Jiho cling to him. Then she called in her ear saying that she didn't feel well and wanted to leave this building. So after Ganyu and Jiho went to wash their faces, their best friend Duan gave Jiho's phone. Tell him that someone wants to talk about this. But I just wanted to make sure that Jiho was always by my side. Suddenly, the class leader stopped by and asked Jiho if he was free. There must be something like this in you. She wanted Jiho to do something for herself and get it done today. However, he couldn't leave Ganyu alone because Song A had given him the task of protecting the person she liked. However, it is what both of them need to do. Jiho happily hugged Hee-ji and promised to finish the job by 8 p.m. Her friend was red all over her face. Duan glanced that he knows that this little class leader is already liking Jiho. Today, I will go with my mother and everyone else to kill the demons. It turned out that the appearance of the demons who were not there was due to the summoning of the flower. No matter how many demons came, this team of teachers was determined to deal with every demon that dared to come close. Usually he looks at everyone in a sudden way, but at times like this, the Flower Prince is against the war. My mother was so cool that she couldn't speak. The demons also began to get scared and retreat behind. Now there was only one thing left, and that was to complete the seal of the demon slayer inside. The first is to find the head of the sealed statue first. Meanwhile, at the archery range, Jiho's friend was still very obedient to Song A. Stick to the golf as if it were a picture with the ball in the broken shoulder. When I came to the archery teacher, I saw these two people touching in a really close relationship. That's how many dangers there are on the way home. This close friend Jiho saved Ganyu like that passionate male lead. Looking at the look of the two of them, there was no one who could not doubt. Even being in the same room in the house, just touching each other looks weird. But this side is still going with everyone to find the head of the statue that seals the haunted house. After Song A found the head of the wooden statue, she didn't think much about it, but took her blood and lime it on that wooden head. Seeing Song A perform such a pulse-winning move, everyone couldn't help but be surprised because she didn't feel pain. However, since childhood, when she was 10 years old, she was already a strong girl who faced all kinds of demons in the world. Each sin because it is no longer valid just because it cannot draw the devil's foot charm. A famous girl, nicknamed the Magician Girl, who lived in the world was abandoned by her biological parents. That is also the reason that Song A has been adopted by the godmother so far and is so strong. It must also be mentioned when I was in high school. But I was also bullied by her own classmates just because of the name of the youngest teacher child. Everyone felt sorry for Song A, hugging her in her arms and expressing her love for a child who lacks love. And his friend Jiho keeps watching his baby sleep like that all night. When I was in love, I was woken up and chased outside. But because he couldn't sleep, the two new boys brought each other out to talk about why Jiho was here. Gon knows that he often touches me just because he wants to. Jiho just asked, did he believe that Song A wanted to protect him? Now you just need to wait until the end of tomorrow. The next day, Song A had just arrived at the exam school and saw the scene of a schoolmate being beaten and bruised. Fortunately, Song A reminded his friend Jin Sung to bite the other guy. Ganyu suddenly appeared from behind, startling her. But when she re-entered the class, she noticed that the other Jinung did not come to class. He was busy looking for his briefcase. When had the addicted father been holding it? What kind of father and son chased each other that Jinung ran straight to the ghost house that was being sealed? He didn't think much about it. He ran straight into the haunted house. Just like that, hide from the father behind the grave pillar. As soon as the father arrived, he kept shouting his son's name. Jinung didn't know that he was the last tribute for the summoning of the demon guard of the magician. Realizing that his master was no longer present, Jinung's dog constantly cursed, causing Song A to pay attention. Arriving at the abandoned house, Song A immediately texted her grandmother at home. Bao Min is currently in a haunted house. Jinung is currently not dead. He was still trying to defend himself no matter how much he screamed. Suddenly, the grumpy friend walked out of nowhere and opened the door. But what he didn't expect was that he had become a container of demons from time to time. Back in time before Song A discovered that his friend Jin Woong had disappeared, she asks the teacher for permission to find this friend, making it impossible for Ganwu and Ji Ho to sit still. Halfway through the game, I felt that something was not very good. The road that Song A took was the road to the abandoned house. Ji Ho told his friend Ganwu to stay here if he was scared. But he didn't. He once saw Song A crying for him, so even if he was in danger, Ganwu still insisted on going to that abandoned house with Ji Ho to see the situation. He also knew about the fact that Song A used Ji Ho as a humanoid charm that always followed closely beside him. So Ganwu didn't want to see Song A cry anymore. When the two arrived at that abandoned house, the locked door could not fly. Ji Ho's friend is only 18 years old, but even the calf of the stone has a hernia. Ganwu tried his best to open the door, but it closed again. He ran in and told Song A to open the door and I would help Jin Woong. She suddenly realized that something wasn't right here, and Song A's godmother and the other two quickly came to find Song A when they learned that she had entered that abandoned house by herself. She took all her strength to run, and the flower prince was a little tired. However, this side saw a photo of Ganwu that was used as a container for demons. The sorcerer deliberately sacrificed his own blood to whisper the original words to the Ganwu. At the right time, she didn't notice that the demon slayer had been invading his body for a long time. Each of these demonic crimes is so strange. The first thing he entered into Ganwu was to see if he looked handsome or not. It's okay to look at it. Song A worriedly asked the demon to get out of Ganwu's body, but he told her, "If you want to kick me out, you have to kill this body." Seeing that Song A was not afraid of him, he curiously took the broken glass and walked back. But when he saw the head, he just wanted to greet and touch her. The head of the amulet from Song A's bomb has an effect. When Ganwu touches it, it returns to normal, and when it is removed, it turns into a demon. The work kept turning on, making the demon angry and telling her that he was going to kill Ganwu. He realized that every time he touched the song, he would lose control of this body. He immediately turned to her and asked her if she wanted to have a crush on him. As long as she caught the magician who had let him into this body before him, he would grant a wish of Song A. When she heard the devil say that he would do whatever he wanted, she immediately agreed. He immediately wanted to play a game first, which was a game of hide and seek. So when she started to come, he opened the door and walked out to enjoy the light that only humans can feel. Jiho's miserable-looking friend doesn't know what's going on here anymore. The ghost in Ganwu's body was running and laughing ha ha ha. The god's mother saw Ganwu running past her, and she immediately recognized that thing and passed by her. It wasn't until the prince and his grandmother arrived that they reported that one person had been entered, and one person was unconscious. Because his friend Jinung was killed by a demon, Song A and Princess Flower performed an exorcism ritual, the god's mother after chasing after Ganwu. Because the demon's body entered him too quickly, she had to hide him. Coincidentally, the magician Jiam Hoa was also present here. The god's mother asked her why she was going to put a charm on the Ganwu, or should I let her teach me what hell is? Although he was threatened, he was not afraid at all, but bluntly grabbed the sword of the mother god. To the point where her hands were bleeding, she began to faint. After a period of exorcism, Jinung's friend is now better. The demon in the Ganwu wanders everywhere, not knowing where to go. To the name of the busker who sang too much, the demon was angry and cursed him to be dumb because he was blind. While not knowing where to go, the demon realized that his friend was bullied by the name of buying a bomb at school. So while the other friend was being blackmailed, the demon in Ganwu's body came to ask if he knew which way to go to school. Because the two are wearing the same uniform as each other. The bully asked if the demon was stupid, and he immediately ate the windmill punch in the face. Even those people who were asked for money were also demanded by the devil for each crime of putting it in their pockets, not returning it. He wanted to buy a bomb to show him the way to the landmark school, but he ran away. The bullies were going to ask for the devil's money, but they were afraid that he would feed them onions. Jiho saw his friend by the bomb running away, which made him a little puzzled. After a while, I only saw that Ganwoo was being dragged away by the military uniforms. He hurriedly ran back to find Ganwoo, but he didn't expect to see that he had already wrestled with the bearheads. Do you want to ask Jiho to be on the same side as them? Seeing that Jiho had the same shirt as him, he wondered if Jiho had told me that I was his friend and worried about him coming to generate electricity. On the way to school, Jiho asks the demon what happened in the emperor's house. Because Song-ae called Jiho at that time, he should run away and don't go near Ganwoo. I don't know how the rumored devil is the one who killed 100 people to be revived in this world. But the demon who entered Ganwoo looked like a young man with Age of Faith syndrome. Turning to Jiho about how you like Song? It must be love to be right. So in order for this friend to shut up, Jiho dragged Ganwoo out to play in the dress. But how could his strength resist the power of a powerful demon? When Jiho goes to exchange money, Ganwoo appears in the mirror and asks the demon to return his body to him, but he doesn't want to. Suddenly, the sound of gunshots reminded the demon in Ganwoo of the old war scene. In distress, Song-ae came and grabbed Ganwoo's hand. This made Jiho on the other side feel extremely personal when he saw the two of them side by side like that. Song-ae pulled the demon aside and told him to spare Ganwoo because she had won this game. Ganwoo wanted to explain that she kept telling him that he was a poor child, to the point of hating herself, but she begged him that she must save Ganwoo, because he was the first love she wanted to be with the most. Everything that Song-ae said had been heard by Ganwoo. She was surprised to release her hand, and the demon appeared again. Touching him again, the Ganwoo was transformed again. I kept going back and forth like that, but I didn't think Ganwoo was a humanoid switch. So Song-ae immediately grabbed his first love's hand and led him straight home to his mother's surprise. After tying up the golf woo, the flower prince advised Song-ae to let go of his hand because he couldn't do anything. Everyone was trying to prepare to exorcise me in order to pull out the demon inside him. He screamed to let me go, or he'll kill you. The exam said so, but when the three people grabbed a bunch of vegetables and burned them, he screamed like a pricked baby. This feeling of numbness made him call everyone to continue. It's a fun massage. So it continued to exorcise me, which was more cruel, which was to throw food at the demon. The demon head was not afraid to see that this dish was still delicious. So everyone immediately came to a scene of sprinkling salt on Ganwoo's body. He saw that this taste was not bad either. The three of them were helpless because they saw that they didn't lose much. When everyone was not paying attention, the demon took off the thing that was binding his hands, then run away from the place where they were trying to get rid of him. But she didn't want Ganwoo to face death. Today was the last day, and she just wanted to be by his side. You've tried so hard, so why do you have to steal the golf woo? So a moment later, the best way that everyone could think of was to let Song-ae sleep with Ganwoo and hold his hand. Seeing Song-ae burst into tears like this, Ganwoo felt extremely guilty because he had promised that he would never make her feel sad again. The mother looked at it on the side, wishing only to separate these two. She couldn't believe that this 18-year-old kid could let her give him peace of mind. Maybe she was not mistaken, but the person she should prevent should be a double sister. She reminded the two that they could only hold hands and sleep. Did you tell your mother to just hold your hand? How could she believe this size? Even when I was at school, I wanted to cover my mouth with my lips after instructing the two of them, but my biological mother stopped by Donghwa's room. She must have lost a lot of energy to become weak like this. I don't know where to rely on to eat loudly. But the flower prince is a little strange when his mother leaves the bad guys and the good guys in the same house today. I don't know if it's a procession or not. Donghua slowly woke up and talked about tying her hands and feet and stuffing them into her mouth that she had already done. You should have cut off your breath earlier. Knowing that she was the seed, why did she still let her live until now? Ganwoo couldn't sleep all night, but he could only turn to look at Song-ae. The two fell into a situation where they looked extremely affectionate face to face. But this seems to be more deliberate, not random. It's really like locking up wolves like that. When she woke up in the morning, she suddenly felt extremely empty next to her. Ganwoo soon dressed in the flower prince's clothes and left his mother's house. Casually walked in the middle of the road and went straight to Hanmak High School. Even the archery instructor wondered why he came so early, but the demon said it was too late. Seeing myself being criticized for wearing clothes looks a little weird. So the other demon also followed him to change into another outfit in the warehouse. Although it is old, fortunately it fits the person of Ganwu. Well, first of all, life gives the role of no sin. Today, the demon who entered the archery Ganwu looked extremely bad, making everyone curious what kind of cat trick he was doing. But after adjusting his posture for a while, the demon who entered the spirit saw that his body began to adjust automatically. Aiming directly at the heart of the steel made him boast that he was indeed talented in archery. But this side is extremely urgent to measure and find the golf again. Jin-Ung's friend appeared in the background, not knowing what kind of cat trick Song A was doing. She only knew that she had just communicated with her beloved dog. Ji-Ho felt that Ganwu had been a little strange lately, so he also came directly to ask how it was. Ganwu pointed a bow at Ji-Ho in the face again, making everyone extremely panicked. Ji-Ho realized that he was not Ganwu. He just kicked Ji-Ho and ran away. The puppy had also just led Song A over. She had just arrived at Ji-Ho when she found out that he had been kicked by Ganwu. The teacher just wondered why he wore pajamas to school like this. She could only smile confidently. Meanwhile, at her mother's house, she is trying to create a barrier to purify the filth in her body. Today, the Flower Prince is not in the mood to set boundaries, and he will be beaten. And the demon in this Ganwu is looking for something. Coincidentally, the demon that set fire once possessed Ganwu wanted to enchant the fire, but it had no effect. The demon in the Ganwu asked him what he wanted. He snapped his fingers a little longer and was hit by the demon in the Ganwu. But it told the demon in the Ganwu not to treat others like that. Only then can those who still have questions about the king be able to leave peacefully without worrying about anything. The new demon asked, but he no longer kept the same respectful language as last time. She said that she had won the game of hide and seek, but he didn't fulfill his promise. Seeing the dog barking, the demon suddenly felt a headache. So the two of them began to play a game of chase, making the boys think that they were a pair of fluffy chickens with each other. Song A was so tired that he wanted to truce, but the demon didn't want to. He wants war, but A accepted with one condition, that he had to reveal his name. He also didn't remember what his name was, but A shouted at him. He couldn't always be called a devil. If he didn't have a song, he decided to give him a new name. Since he lives in that abandoned house, it must be called a good poop. The devil found this name also good. Song A asked him to play hide and seek with him, but suddenly he was stopped again. It turned out that for a magician to call the devil's name 3 times, he answered 3 times. She would be able to temporarily summon that demon in front of her as a simple summoning technique. So Song A took the opportunity to grab Gana's hand and tell her about how hard she had worked. However, the two of them can't go home at the moment because the godmother is setting up a purification barrier for the peace. So the two of them didn't know what to do until they came back, for fear that everyone would gossip about the two of them dating. Ganyu immediately tried to think of another way to see if there was a way not to be exposed. So after finding a way for a while, Song A encountered another problem. Jin-Ung's friend wondered why she knew about the dog. Ganyu came out to tell Jin-Ung to arrest Jin-Ung, so talk a little decently. The fact that the two wanted to confront each other made Song A extremely helpless, but he could only ask for help. Not afraid of strong enemies, only afraid of chicken teammates, so the name Bong Su has successfully escaped from control.
Kikikov a sore throat.
And Song A was held back by Jin-Ung, wanting to know why she knew how to pick up clothes. She just said that it was always by your side to protect you. Then he looked at the robe and bullied it. The fact that Jin-Ung destroyed the Song A group was also spared just because the dog was sick. Ganyu on this side was detained by Mr. Zhang and forced to go and paste leaflets. Just saw that the body was automatically swaying and jumping and ran away. But she was curious about whether Ganyu would participate in the archery tournament. But I didn't think that this name would be so mischievous when I didn't have the consent of the Ganyu and had already participated. After saying that, he always signed his name on the participation list. Then pulled Song A away while he was no longer that Bong Su name. It turned out that the two had made an agreement with each other in advance. He comforted him that he wasn't going to die, so don't worry anymore. Meanwhile, at the god's mother's house, she was trying to reconcile the evil in her body, which made her extremely painful. Since she had her first child, she died weakly since she was a child. The god's mother tried to comfort her at that time, but the pain of losing her child was too great. The new flower plant began to drift away and became so wild that it subdued the devil. The god's mother said that these are things that a magician should not do. The god's mother advised her that if her child had already died, she would just let the child go. Meanwhile at school, because Song-ae and Ganyu kept sticking together, Ji-ho couldn't stare at him. He immediately approached Ganyu curiously and asked why the two of them kept clinging to each other like tattoos. The scene of Ji coughing and approaching others made the classmate who was thinking about him unable to give a lecture continuously. Picking up questions continuously, fortunately, there is also a close friend Jo Joan below to remind him of the lesson. It's not that this friend didn't belong to the card just because she saw the drawn flag sitting near someone else. After performing the purification ceremony for the flower, the god's mother asked the flower prince to take her to the penance room, but the prince refused. There is no reason to harbor a demonic debaucher here. After regaining her spirit, she asked the goddess mother why she wanted to save her when she was the one who abandoned her first. She suspected that the godmother wanted her to come back just to use her strength. The Ji-ho friend on this side was showing a little jealousy because he saw that Song-ae and Ganyu kept holding each other's hands. "What about my friend?" Ji-ho warmly said that he was also a humanoid patron. "Or are you two dating?" Ganyu immediately refused without thinking much. But explained that the two of them were in an extremely dangerous situation, so they had to come into contact with each other like this. Jin-ung's friend, from the moment he knew that his beloved dog was always walking next to him, he had a headache about it. The classmate thanked Dun for wanting to tie her hair as a repayment. Anyway, tying Dun's hair made Jin-ung think she was a puppy. He burst into tears and hugged people's children as if they were right. And the current Ganyu also has to go to the toilet. But I was worried about whether he would run away, but the need for a human like this to the ghost inside the ghost could not bear it. After going to the bathroom, I saw that these two people were still constantly clinging to each other. Even when he went to eat, he was sticky like Sam, making this friend unable to eat well. Stealing her from her longtime best friend. It's not bad. So while these two people were going home together, they fell in love in front of the gate. Ji-ho appeared with the chariot like Lu Bo, breaking the love of these two people. Every crime that does not have time to do anything to people, Lu Bo has already fallen off his horse in front of the beauty of the canoe. Ji-kof saw that these two people held hands very affectionately, and immediately said to Song-ae, "I have something to tell you today." He bluntly admitted his feelings for Song-ae. It seems that this sentence is said here at the wrong time. Jin Woong's friend just finished hugging his daughter in the afternoon and then turned to flirt. Dun felt uncomfortable again, making Jin Woong wonder. She just said that she hated the smell of cigarette smoke and couldn't stand it. Jin Woong's friend from a bully when he was snatched by his love child suddenly changed completely. He didn't hesitate to crush the cigarette pack in his hand just because he didn't like it. Then there is the closing of a birth sentence. Remind yourself to death and don't smoke anymore. The class boy deliberately gave the other bears his phone number for the next time he bullied and blackmailed this friend. Meanwhile, Ji-ho is in front of Song-ae, who admits his feelings for her just because he wants Song-ae to be happy. Even making people sad with Ganwoo is just because he likes Song-ae too much, so he accepts to do it. Song-ae is also very awkward to know this, but because Ganwoo is Song-ae's first love. Ji-ho notices how he sacrificed himself and turned himself into a clown in order to protect it. When he saw the two of them hand in hand, Ji-ho said that he could only see. Yesterday he said again he was sad because he was the one who came first, but he could only look at the two of them holding hands like this. "I'm very sad." Ganwoo on the other side said that he had no other choice. The Bong-su inside was trying to control Gong-woo's body, so he had to hold Song-ae's hand. Ji-ho didn't want to see the scene anymore, so he told Song-ae that he would also support him as much as he could to get rid of that bastard. But I also agreed with this idea and planned to encourage the two of them to forget to hold the Ganwoo's hand. After swapping with Ganwoo, he immediately said a few insults and he was really an idiot. It's just like a young buffalo ghost who likes to play with other people's pain and pain. When he entered Ganwoo's room, Ji coughed when he saw that the robot he loved the most had been sacrificed for the event had also been broken. Ji-ho's heart was so radically new. At night, Song-ae still had to sleep with Ganwoo to avoid the other ghosts swapping bodies. "Auntie, no one here doesn't like to sleep with someone you like you. He incubates all kinds of good sleep, always fears. My biological mother was drinking soju with her housewife to confide in her sincerity. What she was interested in was what the flower zombies would do during the time when the demons were raging. The devil's time usually falls between 1:30 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. That time was also the time when the demon inside Ganwu was active and escaped from Song's control. He saw that she was too comfortable living with the devil and sleeping like a baby. For some reason, he couldn't help but start stroking his cheeks. Remembering the scene where she danced with the flower zombie that day, he also had to admit that Song was something that looked extremely special. Zamhua outside also appeared to ask if he could talk to Bong Su. Zamhua wanted to give Bong Su a charm so that he could quickly take over Gong Wu's body. But it seemed that Bong Su didn't want to do that because he thought she was despising him. He just wanted to stay in Gong Wu's body a little longer because this life was also quite interesting. Zamhua wondered how long Bong Su wanted to stay. He thought about it slowly and said maybe 10 or 20 years, for example. He felt more fun bullying a bully than bullying a good guy like Gong Wu. No matter what Zamhua said, Bong Su still didn't change his mind. At the moment, he still wants to have fun and does not want to take over this body. My mother and everyone else didn't think that the demon could say such words when he had done such a thing. Since it was the devil's hour, Bong Su was also curious about the things around him. Take out the notebook of how to seal and remove the demon to read it as if it were a story. After a while, he saw that Song seemed to be almost awake. He was afraid to rush like a puppy, but jumped over and grabbed her hand so that she would wake up. On the side of the flower zone, her mother's sister saw the evil charm she made, and immediately shouted loudly, not knowing what these people were trying to do. My mother's sister asked Zamhua why she always creates problems that make others tired of being a magician. She told her that it would be better for her to rest with those blind eyes. There is nothing you can do in this place. Hearing the sound, Song and Ganwu also stopped by to take a look. The godmother wondered why Song was holding the hand of a demon. Tell her to let go of her hand quickly. The godmother thought that her twin niece had blindly fallen in love with a demon. If Song didn't let go of his hand, she would definitely be sucked to death by it. The godmother wanted to remove the two of them, but she was strangled by the strangulation of the pillar. If you dare to come closer, I will crush her neck. The godmother heard this and began to chant the mantra. When she suddenly tried to kill her, fortunately, but a voice stopped her. Bong Su wondered why he had to stop when someone wanted to kill him. Song slowly advised the porcelain. Everything will be fine, but the godmother starts chanting the mantra again. Fortunately, the baby has returned, but the godmother is not committed. It was impossible for that demon to leave so easily. The flower line wanted to mix more people, but the flower prince stopped her. It's not that easy to add oil to the fire, Fox. After pulling Song away, I reminded her to let myself and Bong Su talk to each other. He was sure that he would advise that he would not harm anyone. But it is okay as long as the door is not opened until he reaches an agreement with Bong Su. Just try to call your child's name. After letting go of your hand, Song quickly ran out and closed the door. Then I called my son, but the ringtone was what made me obsessed before, according to the plan that I told you beforehand. But she had to make him promise not to harm others before she turned off the war bell until Bong Su agreed. But I led him in front of everyone to promise and apologize that he would not harm anyone from now on. The godmother told me that if you had accepted to live with the devil like this, he would gradually have the feeling of a demon. The godmother told you that if one day you feel that this body no longer belongs to you, you can give a warning signal. After returning to your child's house, but I told you to try not to disturb me at school. Otherwise, I will continue to hold your hand. Promise her. Although he was not very reluctant, Bong Su, because he had promised the sound of gunfire, also agreed to join hands with Song A. However, there is one thing that Bong Su still wants to find out. After searching for a while, Song A reminded him that it was time to practice archery because he had registered for the upcoming competition. So Bong Su also had to listen to her and go to the people to practice archery. But it began to show the bow to the bow again. Teacher Jiang thought that these two people were in love with each other here. No, it is better to advise you to practice by yourself. Jiho's friend on the side saw that the two of them were still clinging to each other, looking uncomfortable at all. Every day is the same every day. Bong Su went to find what he needed and practiced archery under the supervision of Song A for a week back and forth. Can be said that even though it is not a tumor, Bong Su is gradually feeling that he can do well in the sports that he usually does. When I returned to my mother's house, Dam Hoa just asked Bong Su if she felt happy playing with the children. Bong Su felt extremely happy, but the flower told him that if he stayed in a human body for too long, he will definitely be destroyed. Even so, Bong Su still doesn't care, he still wants to enjoy the youth that he didn't enjoy before because he was a soldier who died in the war. Dam Hoa was extremely helpless when she knew how much effort she had to put in just to endure the peeling. Yet he was against her, making her unwilling. And Bong Su have found a new solution together to be able to make Bong Su and the same child exist. But it is in the form of one person a day. But a person helps to draw a human charm on your child. Every way one person is the other will be swapped as if alternating lives. To be sure, Song A took his charm lipstick but accidentally fell on you. After a while, the two of them kissed each other. But they couldn't help but recognize that the corpse of the child looked really beautiful. On the day of the archery festival, Jiho also came to visit you to see how he was doing. He seemed to have quite a fighting spirit in him today. But when he came to wish you good luck, Mr. Jiang asked him to quickly go over there with his lover. When the two of them just clapped their hands. My consciousness is like that, I don't know what I should do now. Song A's spell began to take effect when she repeatedly chanted the spell. Now you can see the aura behind the back of the fairy heaven and earth. After seeing the fairy heaven and earth voice, however, he could also see the aura behind the back of the fairy heaven and earth. The 5 senses in the body begin to become more sensitive and able to see things that ordinary people cannot see. At that time, even if he said he saw ghosts, no one believed him, so the possibility that the current tumor is about to be overwhelmed by the soul of the Bongsu. Jiho wonders why he wants an amateur like him to go to a big tournament like this. I just want the tournament. I just want the tournament for an amateur like you. I just want the tournament for an amateur like you. So the possibility that the current tumor is about to be overwhelmed by the soul of the Bongsu. Jiho wonders why he wants an amateur like him to go to a big tournament like this. I just want the tournament for an amateur like you. I just want the tournament for an amateur like you. Just participate as usual. After the competition, he promised to treat Jiho, so he asked him to try to make a background for him to shine. Since being motivated by the prayer of the flower Jayam, you can now see the same souls as you do. Seeing that he needed to be awake, he went to the toilet to wash his face. The old friends at the high school, but the brothers stopped by to ridicule the person who caused the death of others, but they still dared to go to the archery competition. These guys were still angry with him just because Hina had died in the fire with you that time. But the child did not hide at all, admitting that it was her own fault that she had to die. However, the current child does not want to shoot archery to make others unhappy. I just hope my old friends don't make things more complicated because they all like archery. My mother at home heard the sound of a harmonious spell being read inside. She knocked on the door and found that she could not open it. When he opened the door, he only saw that the door was blocked. The sound of the spider curse seemed to get stronger. It makes you see more and more struggling souls, which a human being should not see. However, after being cheered by the duo, he still regained his spirit and participated in the archery competition. Song A suddenly heard a common voice somewhere. The sound of the spider curse of the harmony spell continuously echoed in his hand, making Song A seem to be gradually attached to the turtle curse. She thought that the flower was trying to enchant the child, so she also began to spider the harmony spell so that it could counteract the effect. Meanwhile, Gunyu didn't know why it took a while, until he reminded him that it was almost time for him to let go. That was also the time when the flower was anaphylactic and the tumor achieved an absolute score. Since then, he has won the first prize in this archery competition. Gunyu was both happy and remembered that she had been here to celebrate with him before, but now he had Song A by his side. After a while after Song A wanted to take a couple photo with Gunyu, his friend Jiho was jealous and intervened to block his nose. I know you like people, but I still want to try to like you a little. But after taking pictures, Gunyu suddenly wanted to go home alone first to show off the badge he had. Jiho wanted to follow him, but he found him a little strange, because he was suddenly unusually good. Well, the whole group went to eat barbecue first. But now he asked Gunyu if he felt anything strange or if there was anything wrong with his body. He only saw that such a song was infected with some kind of chi curse. The reason for this is that Jayam Hoa has targeted Song A from the beginning, not Gunyu. Since the two of them were originally from the same origin, it seemed easier than she thought. As soon as Song A returned home, Princess Hua found out that she had been cursed, and her mother now knew that Jayam Hoa deliberately cursed her daughter. She also said that it was not a child born by her, and her biological mother told her that if she hated her, she would hate her. How could a cruel person like a flower sit still? She hated everything. Things related to her biological mother, so she did it. Meanwhile, Gunyu is proudly showing off the first prize winning badge to his grandmother. Song as godmother stopped by, making Gunyu immediately seem to understand what she came for. However, because of the matter of the flower, she now has an extremely headache. But looking at the back of such a flower is carrying a box, now even the eyes hurt. The current flower worm playing with Song A is a little bored, and begins to talk about Song as past when he was abandoned by his biological parents. Then they are also taken advantage of their own abilities to make money for others. The fact that Song A was treated like that was exactly the same as when she was also sent away. A person who is talented but also lonely and hoops. Mother God told her to hold her mouth and not compare her with Song A. Because Song A has been raised by her own hands, now Mother God also wants to raise Jayam Hoa with a heart like a real mother. May Jayam Hoa only be able to describe it however she wants. Gunyu on this side heard that Song A had been cursed. But she is a fairy heaven and earth, so she will definitely be punished by heaven. Gunyu wants to receive punishment instead of Song A. The godmother said that if a regular person took his place, he would die instantly. Gunyu wants Song as safety first. The godmother asked him if he had any charms that the little girl had given him. Gunyu quickly handed the charm attached to the lipstick back to her, so that she could begin the chanting. After he sat down with his grandmother in the house, she wondered why she and Jayam Hoa were so compatible and understood the dance of buying flower lanterns so much. She just said that, in fact, Jayam Hoa is not a bad person. However, because he suffered too much damage, he became such a person. The god's mother also loves her very much, so she often tries to make Jayam Hoa become a good person again. It's just that she's going a little wrong. The godmother on this side couldn't dissolve the humanoid charm of Gunyu and Song A because the bond between the two was too strong. Now, if she wanted to protect her, she had no choice but to bring this thing to her divine palace. I hope I can protect the two of you at the same time. She told Gunyu to be careful from now on, not to get involved with the devil as one, and if he did, he would not see blood even if he died. For the time being, she wanted to treat her body like glass and be careful, until she succeeded in asking the gods to bless both the Gunyu and the Song. As for Song A, out of curiosity about what the wooden box on the back of the flower was about, she didn't answer, ignoring Song A, and left. Gunyu was on his way home. He met his aunt last time, who was a little mentally unstable. Even a good student friend passed by here, but Gunyu found that the suicide ghost was walking very close to him. Because of the promise not to have contact with the devil, Gunyu didn't know what to do anymore. After returning home, the flower prince told Gunyu to take good care of Song A from now on because she was suffering from a disease and had to endure it herself. This disease cannot be cured by doctors, but looking at the beautiful bottle will definitely make you feel better. After entering Song A's room, she no longer looked as innocent and happy as before, but looked extremely weak. Gunyu accidentally found the paper that Song A recorded the time to save him. He was curious, but Song A just wanted to take the paper back. Start to be more difficult and shout out to Gunyu not to read that paper. At night, she apologized again and recounted that she only wanted to Gunyu and did not want to come to her world. She wanted to live in the human world. She wanted him to become normal. After telling Gunyu that Song A unconsciously approached him, he fell asleep immediately. The next morning, when the flower teacher was exercising, he heard his mother's curse, and when he saw his daughter lying in his arms, she immediately pulled out a shot for him. Now, coincidentally, it was the time when the Bong Su took over the body of the Gunyu, cursing her that this old woman's thing kept coming out and hitting her. I must have craved it. When Song A held his hand, Gunyu leaned down and hid. When he came to school, his friend Ji-ho wondered what was wrong with him. He asked Ji-ho if he knew what it felt like. But him suffering like that. Today in class, the teacher asked the whole class to write about their dreams. Just don't be too pretentious. Otherwise the teacher will be called out. Take Song A's paper and laugh. The first person a moment later, the teacher called both Gunyu and Duong A to the podium to ask the two of them to read their dreams. Song A's dream is very simple now when she just wants to graduate and open a class, take pictures with everyone. The teacher just told her that a dream is something that you have to work hard to achieve. It's your turn. He was hesitant to tell the teacher to let me write it again. When Song A saw Bong Su's dream, he only wrote that he was an adult, so he also wondered if there was any need to try this when Bong Su left. But a wonder to his friend Ji-ho, who didn't know how old Bong Su was now. A good student suddenly came to class with a faux butter. But discovered that the suicide ghost was extremely close to that good student, to find out what was real. She went to find the friend and asked if he could let go of his hand a little. She wanted to sprinkle salt to see if this friend's situation was any better. But in terms of the faux butter of Song A, how can you let go? Meanwhile, the flower zombie at home kept thinking about Song A's words. On her back was a box tied with such white cloth that it could not escape. She wondered if the thing on her back was a coffin? Meanwhile, the god's mother was worshipping the gods, but the gods reminded her that she could only save one of them. Zamhua immediately ran inside and asked the godmother why she didn't tell her, why she hid it. She began to smash the thick stuff and took a knife to cut the carpet underneath. She blamed her mother for not letting her son escape and being locked in a coffin behind her back. And Song A, although tired, still tried to go to the archery range with Ganyu to watch him practice. But when Song A had just washed her face, suddenly appeared and asked why she let Song A be so sick. He just told me that it was a curse. How could he believe that a magician could be cursed? Ganyu said that he would take care of her, so don't worry. But how could a person like you help Song A? At the godmother's house, she explained that because of the flower zombies, she had done countless evils. Heaven punished her by letting her see the person she loved suffer. The pain was equal to the sin caused by the zombies. She wanted to curse her mother, so much so that she wouldn't let go even after she died. Even so, the godmother still kindly wanted to save the flower zombie from the pain that was thick with it. If she wanted to curse, she gave her a handkerchief that had followed her for 10 years, trying to do what she wanted to do. The classmate who is good at buying bombs at school is increasingly falling into the path of wanting to commit suicide just because of bullying. Today in class there was a baking class. The friend Jin-ung was baking while looking at his friend due to his fate in class and remembered his son. He immediately cried, but he was sure that this friend was the transfiguration angel of the robe, and the other friends called him crazy. Jin-ung looked at him and admitted that it was true that I was crazy because I loved him. But he probably wanted to say that love was predestined. Rather, the classmate who was good at buying bombs continued to receive threatening messages from the bullies. He looked at the vegetable field on the table and immediately thought of committing suicide, but because he saw that the ghost was still very close to buying a bomb. She was determined to save him and rushed straight to the toilet, constantly afraid to call for bombs to go out and not think about anything stupid. Ganyu because he was reminded and called for protection, but he let her go near the ghost who committed suicide alone. Ganyu seemed to be thinking about himself being the source of the problem, being unhappy to live in this world, so he also decided to let himself save this friend. Buying a bomb who wanted to cut his own wrists, Ganyu to stop him accidentally caused himself to bleed. The godmother once said that as soon as he saw blood, his 5 senses would start to smell the devil and his body would be taken over by someone else after waking up. Seeing that Song A was still holding his hand, Ganyu saw that she was a little tired of avocado pho. He was not okay at all. In order to take care of Song A, he took her home and began to take care of her like a sick person. But Song A was cursed too badly and could not eat or drink much. Day after day he was still holding hands, but fortunately after a few days, she had also recovered a little and was able to walk, worried that Gana's archery skills would be lost. Song A begged so much that he took her to the archery practice range with him, then held hands and went to clean the storage room together, but Song A accidentally fell on the chair. Looking at this strange gaze, Song A asked when he was going to tell the truth about Ganyu. He was the shadow. The shadow looked at Song A anxiously and asked why he suddenly said that. When she was archery, he didn't do the same hand gesture as Ganas, so she was sure that in front of her was Bong-su, not Ganyu. When asked where he was, he said that he had been eaten. At her mother's house now, Dam Hoa was constantly thinking about what she said if she needed to curse. Curse her, and she will give her own offering. The flower prince was so bored that he didn't know what to do after the recent scandals. He only knew how to sit and drink alone and felt that he was not drunk at all, but after a while the flower prince was drunk again. Dam Hua took all the talismans in the prince's body and went to Song A's room and searched for all kinds of things, curiously asking her what she was doing here. Asking her about what she had done with the silver lantern before. She didn't answer, just asked if she felt comfortable with her new body. She didn't even let him answer and left first, wondering what she was trying to do anymore. As for Dam Hua, since she was given a handkerchief by her biological mother that she always wears with her, she carries it with her everywhere she goes, remembering that her biological mother bought this scarf in the past. Something that she didn't seem to like but always kept with her. The feng shui merchant opened the towel of the flower dome. Seeing that there was a devil's face pattern in the middle, he immediately criticized his mother for not having any aesthetic eyes, and the flower dome said that it was a pattern that drove away evil. Meanwhile, Bong-su expressed his feelings to his mother. To be honest, he was not a demon and only accidentally took over his body. He also wanted to live, but he didn't want to cooperate with a profound magician, and the flower was trying to bring your soul to the afterlife. My mother heard Song Xiang tell Song A that from now on, she will also protect Bong Su. If the god dies and has you, he will come forever. The only way to protect you is to protect Bong Su as well. Not to mention that Bong Su also wants to live and be loved once. There is a possibility that Song A will have to try to be by Bong Su's side until he completely leaves your body. After hearing this, he saw Song A return to his room. He accidentally had his hand pinched, but he was still a little embarrassed when facing Song A. He asked again, but he said that he didn't know if his biological mother had said anything to her, but he said that he just needed to be kind to him. Not to mention the case of giving affection to Bong Su until the night when he goes to bed. But he couldn't sleep, but he couldn't think about how to save the child back, and the current child seemed to be trapped in a forest without a shadow of a person. As for Bong Su, from the moment he heard his mother say that Song A would be kind to him, he immediately ran to Song A when he went to school and grabbed her hand as if to let everyone know that the two were dating. Even when he came out to play, there were only two of them in the class and he played a trick of cats, but he didn't have any reaction. Even his friend Jiho, when he came to class, he saw that these two people were a little attached to each other, and he was a little jealous, but he was more surprised when he found out that the person who touched the current Song A was a Bong Su. After pulling Song A aside to ask, she says it will take 100 days to pray, but Jiho thinks that there is no guarantee that you will come back. For AA, even if 100 days is not enough, 1,000 or 3,000 days is fine. Seeing Song A loving you blindly like that, Jiho was angry in front of the Bong Su, forcing him to drag the O out of here, but the Bong Su also liked this world. I like to see that the Dharma is the Song A outside, and I feel that every time I can't take care of the Song A, I also feel extremely painful in my heart until I am on the way home. When his friend Jinung called Bong Su back, he made an extremely uncomfortable expression. What does it have to do with Song? Where is Song A? The itchy friend Jinung just wanted to know about his dog, and while he was talking, suddenly his classmates screamed in a nearby alley, including the friend who was bullied last time and was being beaten up. The friend Jinung with a bong appeared after, and the red smoke tied up looked extremely cool. It's true that no matter how cool he was when he was possessed by a ghost, he was about to rush up and punch the barehead guy, but he was lucky to be stopped by you. It's true that he has just been incorporated, but he is hot-tempered so that his teammates can escape before peeling off their teeth and lips, after successfully rescuing some of his friends. It seemed that Mobom was happier when he knew that he was not alone in this class, and that the suicide ghost no longer clung to him because of that. After returning home, Song A immediately called Bong Su to stop and ask why he came home so late. Seeing that his hands were covered in blood, she was worried that she couldn't use your body to do such useless tricks at will. Seeing Song A's angry and worried expression, Bong Su couldn't help but want to tease her a lot. Even when he woke up the next day, he didn't see any swelling, but he was currently working very hard to sell bows. As for his friend Jinung, who had just arrived at class, he saw a guy flirting with the child and swept his human robe out of jealousy. Seeing that it was Bong Su, the friend only knew how to put it in the candy, making the Bong Su go crazy because this Myokita candy made from milk was really delicious from the moment it was peeled off. His sociable personality quickly attracted everyone in the class, and even the girls were impressed by his approachable appearance. So much so that even though the girls suddenly went to sing karaoke, Song A suddenly felt a little jealous. Actually, it's not jealousy. When the Flower Prince asked, Song A only felt as if she was taking advantage of Gana's body to be closer to others, but it felt more uncomfortable because of this. She was only worried about what if one day the Ganyu really disappeared from this world. The Flower Prince said that he could help Song A to meet Bong Su, but he had to wait until the time when the devil was raging. So it was about 2:30 in the morning, but a guard tried to call Ganyu to wake up, and he was still lurking in a forest. Seeing a soldier leaning on a tree stump to fall asleep because he heard a noise, he also pointed his gun around. Looking back, he only saw a comrade on the front line walking over and eating the soup. This dream made Ganyu successfully wake up. Then tell Song A about what he saw in that dream. Song A must definitely find a way to be able to pull Su out of the obsession in it. When the time of the devil was over, Ganyu hugged Song A and ate her for the last time, then lost connection with her body, and gradually fell asleep. Ganyu currently wants to be friends with the other two, but it seems that it will be quite difficult. The next day when he went to the archery training school as usual, Mr. Jiang Hu shouted extremely loudly and ran to inform Bong Su that he had been recruited to the national archery team. Because of his greater popularity, he constantly received the admiration of others, which made Song A feel a little disgusted. She was about to leave, but suddenly called Song A, asking if she could have a wish if she won the national team's award. He whispered something that Song A didn't want to. Bong Su hurriedly ran after him and said that he just wanted to have a first kiss and he wanted to do it only with Song A. That's why he even shouted loudly to everyone, making her want to go up to the Monkey Mountain and chase her back. Jiho wondered if the current Bong Su was nervous or not. He thought that just kissing a magician was a big deal. Bong Su thought that with Gong's body like this, Song A's liking for him was just an overnight thing. Before anyone who cried out for a cool life, I don't know if I hate him anymore. In the evening when he went to practice archery, Gong's phone kept ringing, making him wonder. Suddenly you have a father calling or something. Jiho's friend was curious to know who had called Bong Su, so he tried to follow him. He was sitting and talking to the magician. She wanted to return the silver ring to herself, but he didn't want to. At least wait until he succeeds in the national team. Zamhua immediately realized that Bong Su was now satisfied with becoming a human. She began to attack Uncle Bong Su as an evil spirit for stealing other people's bodies. As for the Gongyu in his body when he died, it was only a matter of time. Will you pretend to continue to be with Song A? When Bong Su had just left, the Flower Prince called. Asking her constantly came up with a plan to do bad things. But now he is asking the Flower Prince to make another amulet. Bong Su is feeling the pain of that year returning. Those sounds of bombs and bullets made him haunted. Fortunately, Diho appeared here, and he returned to his senses. Zamhua walked over and asked him to come and see him at any time. When Diho asked about the identity of the person, he didn't want to reveal anything. When he got home, Bong Su recalled that Zamhua said that if he wanted to know what Song A's feelings were like this, he should hold this sad sheet in his hand. You'll know that's when you pretend to be asleep. But I constantly called Gong's name and hugged him, looking extremely gentle and affectionate. Seeing that Gong's expression was sad, Song A asked curiously, but suddenly pretended that he was still a Gong. She didn't want to tell her that she was sad when she saw that the person she liked another soul. Song A asks if Gong you can access the two souls in Bong Su's memory. Bong Su just realized that it turned out that Song A was also trying to protect him, not sing to destroy him. For the first time, he felt a sense of vibration, but it was that expression that made Song A realize that he was appeal. The two of them suddenly had a distance that they couldn't talk to each other. After school, Bong Su couldn't stand it and pulled Song A to the side. Jiho was also in a hurry to follow. Bong Su let Song A know that the person he had been looking for at school since then was Zhang Junbu. A friend asked him to let his bones stay in his homeland. However, Bong Su died before he could do that, so he deeply regretted it. That's why Bong Su became a ghost. At present, Bong Su has fulfilled his wish and said to Song A and Jiho, I will live my life for the rest of my life, and I can only live in ghost hours. Seeing the shameless shadow touching the song, Jiho immediately kicked him out and he said that he was hurt just like Jiho. Meanwhile, Zhonghua was rushing to find the Flower Prince's amulet to save his child. But she was tied to a chair by the prince and her divine mother from before. The fact that she wanted to summon the god of death was a taboo when she wanted the god of death to take away the soul of the god of death. To prevent Zhonghua from doing anything more evil, Mother God decided to awaken her abilities so that she could become an ordinary person. Knowing that Zhonghua only wanted to save his child, Mother God also had no other way to protect her beloved daughter. As for Zhonghua, when he saw that other people had a child, he also felt extremely jealous. He coughed because he wanted to know if he could save Gongyu. He went to Zhonghua to ask her, and she said there was another solution. And Bong Su didn't know why he didn't want to shoot archery in the national team anymore. Maybe it's because I'm rejected or love doesn't come to me. So much so that Song A had to pull out the Bong Su and ask who he wanted to destroy Gong's dream. Hearing the name Gongyu made Bong Su extremely angry. Bong Su said that from now on, he was a Bong Su and would live the life of a Bong Su. Jiho remembered Zhonghua's words and said, if you want to destroy Bong Su's soul, you just need to bring his silver ring here. And Bong Su began to smash everything in Gong's house. As if he wanted to be a little angry, after bringing the silver ring to Zhonghua, Jiho only saw her say goodbye to him and then went straight inside. Realizing that he was deceived, Jiho kept banging on the door outside. Instead, she began to cast spells on Gong's body, summoning the god of death so that she could take Gong's soul away. After that, she saw that Bong Su was in great pain. She immediately took him to the god's mother's house and everyone hurried to the grave of her late friend Zhang Junbu. The godmother wanted to attract death, luring him to the wrong place to be summoned. So both sides began to compete to perform spells, and the god of death also appeared outside the god's mother's house. After an extremely tense ceremony from both sides, the pain of the Bong Su also stopped and he screamed, I just wanted to live, why was it so difficult? remembering that I had read a way to be able to resist the enchantment. Bong Su immediately took out the book, began to enchant the opposite, and summoned the god of death to rebel against the flower, causing her to bleed immediately. The flower at this time realized that she had been enchanted by someone. Even after that, she realized that something was wrong when the god of death had left somewhere, and the god's mother gave the flower the scarf containing her amulet. Since then, the god of death has come in front of the mother of the god through that towel, taking her life because of her prayer and smiling. After casting the charm, Bong Su realized that he had accidentally caused the god's mother to accept death. He wanted to mumble and apologize just because he wanted to live. The flower voice hurriedly ran home to exterminate the tortoise, and the bastard demon opened the door. When she opened it, the porcelain shadow had already disappeared, while the melancholy voice woke up. In front of him was the scene where Bong Su was asking him if he was bad or evil, and then he was directly shot in the face because Bong Su was a bad person. The flower voice wanted to find the shadow of the porcelain, but Song-A stopped her. She said that Bong Su himself became an evil god thanks to the murder of the 190th person, the god's mother. But it was only because she saved her that the godmother became so shallow, even though she hated her very much. But if it was the mother's intention, the song god could still try to protect the flower variety, and the next day the song disappeared without a trace. The voice of the child woke up only to see Song-A appearing in front of him. The voice was dreamy, but spoke up. Am I like the fairy in your dream? When you wake up, let's go on a date. I thought it was the truth that I had just gone on a date with Song-A, and then took a few pictures for her instead of taking pictures of herself. After that, they prayed together and then went out together, looking extremely happy. The voice suddenly asked Song-A, Bong Su, where was the monk? He could no longer feel it in his body. But he didn't want to mention that name in a dark voice, warning him that he would come back. The flower prince stayed at home so that the flowers wouldn't disturb her, so he dazzled her because it was too noisy, so he also came in to see what was going on. The flower voice told him that he didn't know about the fairy heaven and earth, and the shadow itself was a disaster. First it will kill the trees around it, then the animals, then the humans. The flower song wanted to stop her, but the flower prince said that she already knew everything. Meanwhile, Song-A on this side has just confessed his feelings to the voice. As soon as he covered his eyes and put a kiss on his lips and began to shed tears, only then could he rescue the child. And she promised to return before the graduation of the two, after the soothing of the melancholy. The soul of the shadow kept leaving the body of the voice until the two of them disappeared, and the voice began to wake up, and then hurriedly went to find the person they loved everywhere. He didn't know that this was the last time the two of them would see each other in a period of time. It's also the time of seniority, but I can't go to school, making his friend Jiho and Jongyu extremely longing. Even though they are divided into classes, they still have lunch together. And his schoolmate Jinung from a smoker has now returned to being an exemplary citizen. And his voice has also returned to his archery training. He always brought back countless gold medals for the district members, so he didn't think that the gold medal sword was like a candy sword. He was also surprised that this guy had won so many gold medals. Jiho was curious to know how you had been living lately. He followed you to a hospital when he found that he was confiding in his old school friend Hina. The friend at that time woke up after a period of kissing. Hina said that that year, because of her voice had suffered a lot of misunderstandings from her friends. She felt that she would have to live with this burden for the rest of her life. In addition to Hina being his first friend, he also made some new friends now. I just hope that Hina will also live happily. Jiho, after learning about us voice, only went to see an old friend. He expected it to be a song because he missed it a lot, even when he graduated, but it did not appear as she had promised to Tanong Yu, as she had said in front of the whole class, but her voice was not sad because of that. If you want to take a picture with Jiho of the three of them, the bouquet of flowers symbolizes Song-A's height. You should leave the flowers at this distance because he is so short. But I'm sure I'm here too, laughing at these two friends because they think about each other's height, and the jealous friend appears. Tell him to be this tall, and then stand aside to take a picture of the three of them. Song-A's disappearance also made everyone feel extremely nostalgic, but that didn't make them give up looking for her. He went to his mother's house, only to find that everything looked empty. Zhang Hoa describes a place where there are no gods, that is, the owner of the place is no longer alive. However, the fact that the gods left and the fairy heaven and earth did not return to report the dream to the two of them, which meant that they were still alive somewhere out there. The flowers, including the three, are linked together by the art of harmony. If Song-A dies, he will definitely appear in a white suit and return to tell the two of them about the dream. At present, the two of them have to find Song-A as soon as possible, but the flower is deliberately opening the arsenal to exclude me. Revealing inside was a weapon bow for him to use, telling him to save Song A before she harmed him. The flower resemblance meant that the porcelain shadow was in Song A's body, and Gong Wu immediately took the bow to the flower prince's room. Aiming at the gods scared the prince into thinking that he was possessed by a ghost. If he did that, he would be punished by the gods. In order to get rid of me, Gong Wu asked the flower prince for a bunch of charms so that he could go to the rescue of Song A. Every crime he was going to eat and hide under his buttocks a little more, these things were predicted by the flower. She also told the flower prince that if she came back to get more charms, she would pay for it as much as she gave him. The flower variety has been following Song A for a year since she went missing, and the grandmother in the house has been asking about the flower variety since she was imported. Song Wu could still see demons or things like that because he had a very close connection with Song A. Maybe using the Wu voice can find the location of the Song A, and finding the Song A is something that the Wu voice can't refuse but the flower kind wants. That is to destroy the fairy heaven and earth to end the evil god's life. Zhang Wu began to hunt the spirits wandering outside, using the flower charm given to him to ask the ghost if he had ever seen a song. After failing to control the ghost, he told Tong Wu to go find a ghost that was not present to worship the evil god. Just give it a face and it will listen to the words of the Wu voice. So he didn't think much about it and immediately went to find the faceless ghost, and kept shooting arrows at it until it ran to the abandoned house. Zhang Wu successfully glued a new face to it and forced it to find out the location of Song A. Day after day, the Wu voice was constantly searching for the location of Song A everywhere. So much so that Mr. Jiang had to ask why he had been caught by the police all day holding a bow and running in the forest. Even after practicing archery for 2 months, Mr. Jiang wants to be like Wu to have to say a reason to be able to protect him. That's why he told him about how he had been looking for a pink shadow that promised him to come back. And then from the moment he saw the world that Song A had to face from childhood to adulthood. Zhang Wu didn't know how she could smile innocently when she had to see other things all her life. I heard that she knew that this girl was in love. The faceless ghost outside called out in a Wu voice, telling him where Song A was staying. Zhang Wu immediately ran away, and the flower appeared and took the face of the faceless ghost and gave it a new face, forcing it to say where Song A was. But he was currently trying to heal the injured souls, and when he was on his way there, he felt like there were countless demons surrounding him. But he was not afraid at all, and took the lives of the ghosts one by one. And the flower algae also appeared at this time, asking Song A why she had to beg for 100 unjust souls when she only needed to go down to the underworld to pray for the king once. Bong Su immediately swapped bodies for Song A, calling out to the flower not to obstruct her, otherwise she would be killed. She immediately overthrew Song A's altar, intending to kill her, but fortunately Wu appeared to stop her. Only when he saw that Song A was safely leaving, would he stop his hand if she didn't create a bubble. "I'm not here to stop you," the flower is screaming. "That's why I'm trying to correct my mistake." Ronghua also warned that if Song A came to look for him in the future, it could only be that he wanted to take his life so that he could survive. Then Tong Wu had to call her. Because of this, he was able to survive for a while. Zhang Wu was interviewed on TV about what he wanted to do, and it happened that Jiho was also watching his best friend's broadcast that day. Zhang Wu bluntly shared that his dream is really not to achieve a gold medal in archery, but to find his first love. "I miss you very much." Jiho clicked. This guy's tongue is too opportunistic, but he also moved to Tong Wu's house to stay with him. Looking at the surrounding scenery, I can't help but remember the fun memories of the children. Can be said that he is the most tolerant man I have ever met, and he even came to live with the lover of the drawer. Zhang Wu now has to go to his mother's house, and Mrs. Ji in the house said that Song A's godmother prayed until the day she died, just to be able to ask for blessings from her gods to pray for peace for you and twins. Instead of leaving this thing in Song A's room, it would be much better to come up with it for the Wu voice. The usual Wu brought the gold medal he had achieved, put it in Song A's drawer as if to prove to her that he had done a great job with his dream. Now the only thing he needs in his life is a song. The promise meets the Wu voice. He can't bear to hang him. He must have been given the gate of happiness in the old days. It's a man, it's called a wife. She reminded me in a Wu voice if she finds the body of Song A, call her there for the purification ceremony. But looking at the Wu voice, who wants to see the person he loves die? When he got home, he remembered the words of the voice that said, "If you have a dream, you must ask where it is." In fact, the Wu voice was actually dreaming a strange dream, a pretty cute slogan in a 12th grade. Among them were Jiho and his classmates, and there were also Song A's clothes on the table. Turned out that in her dream, this class was so beautiful. While dreaming, Jiho called him to get up and go out to eat. Seeing you keep talking about your dreams, Jiho said that you have reached a new level of. In that dream, the voice Wu also met Song-a, but she couldn't remember that she had drawn the picture on the board. It felt like that kind of painting made Tong Wu feel very familiar. Where have you seen that beach? But the current A is appearing with a piercing ear that can't be more dazzling when her body is peeling off. I have not seen the flower prince for a long time, but I have to admit that the beak of the flower blossom is a little loose. Yes, it is more chaotic, but quite a lot. Bong Su looked at the face of the flower prince. The more he looked at it, the more he hated it. Suddenly there was a call outside, and the flower prince immediately called the monk to flee, and the voice of Wu walked in. In front of the flower prince, Wu said that he felt like he was still very safe. I always feel that she is close and always by my side. Suddenly there was a noise somewhere. When the flower prince cried, he didn't hear anything, but the barrel made a louder sound. The flower prince said no, but suddenly he was angry because the beak of the Wu voice talked too much. It hurt his whole head and walked out in front of the speech. Not even more stunned when he was eaten by a kick in the sky. Then the two of them played the game of garden cats right on the beach. Seeing that he couldn't run, the ball immediately thought of a way to grab the Wu voice. A kiss on his lips made him itch. Thinking that Song-a changed his ears. Suddenly he screamed and looked like Song-a. This time my shoulder was really broken. After finding a living with the shadow of the lion, the voice of Wu led the shadow of the lion home. But Jiho was extremely dumbfounded. Suddenly my brother came out to kiss Jiho and asked, "Is this what you still want to do with your drawn flag, right?" This swastika made one shot and took 2 kisses on the heads of the two. I suspect it's too sexy. Jiho was so shocked that he still couldn't believe the fact that he had just kissed his drawn flag. It was also thanks to Bong Su that his dream came true. Saying that, he suddenly went into the house and changed. Trying on all kinds of fashion after fashion makes Jiho with an extremely awkward Wu voice. But the two of them were also very excited, so they also watched the time show. Suddenly, Jin Ung's friend who was about to enlist in the army also stopped by here. Jiho was worried that he didn't want to let his son go out. Like Wu because he let the shadow of the master escape, but he searched for Jin Ung's clothes. From here, the loudspeaker also told everyone that the song had reappeared. So the classmates hurriedly ran to Tong Wu's house to see how this girl had been living for more than a year. Dudon was worried and hugged Song-a. Bong Su didn't realize that the person in front of her was because she no longer had hair or braids like last time. Just like that, the blonde hugged the beautiful girl, but was not afraid to worry about being perverted because it was in Song-a's body, to celebrate the return of Song-a. Everyone immediately held a party in the garden of the Wusong, and Jin Ung curiously asked the porcelain balloon. He said that the last miracle was to travel to quite a lot of places, so he was a little busy, and his friend Jin Ung Shao called out to Dudon. "I miss you so much that I think you're dead." It's true that after returning from duty, Jin Ung and Dudon have also become a happy couple. The friends here kept joking and laughing together, to the point that he had to hold back because he didn't think he could enjoy a happy life like this. Everyone saw that Song-a suddenly had a sad and self-pitying look. Bong Su felt so guilty that he had robbed others of their presents like this. Seeing Song-a crying, everyone was worried, but only Wu knew how the shadow inside Song-a was feeling. After the party, Tong Wu directly asked Song-a where he was, how he could see her again. Bong Su told the Wu voice to wait for the time of the demon mother, just like Song-a had done to him. So Wu voice without any doubt waited until midnight. At 2 o'clock in the morning, he came to call Song-a to see if it was okay. But Song-a suddenly woke up with a face of faux butter. Calling the name of the Wu voice made him think that he could finally meet his first love. Every age, the demon burst out laughing as if he was going crazy. Looking at the expression on his face, this voice made him laugh madly. Zhang Wu felt like a clown. This time he must have moved up the mountain to paint the fruit with no loss. Adding 10 regional points is fine, and the sleeping friend Ji Ho doesn't understand what's going on. I only knew that I turned around and lost my leg and knee. Even when he woke up the next morning, the sudden demon still didn't spare Wu's voice. When you called me last night, I kept clinging to the Wu voice from morning to night, so I didn't dare to face reality anymore. Seeing that this paw kept teasing him, Wu was angry and pressed the porcelain ball against the wall. Accidentally turning off the lights makes the situation look a little wrong. You don't have to test my patience and turn on the light just as Ji Ho walked in. Wu was tired of the joke. Ji Ho told him that he must also have something difficult to say, and he couldn't easily share it with the two of them right away. He was just as serious about Song-ae as we were, picking up the teddy bear. Jiho called out in a woo voice to take it with him and apologized to the teacher when he got home. He suddenly didn't want to turn on the light, but sat in a sad corner. He asked in a woo voice if he could help him do one thing, which was to die for himself. Dying in the mage's area, but a will only appear if it is a shadow and not a woo voice. When he pretended to peel off the porcelain, Song-ae didn't worry and appeared in front of him. Tong-woo curiously asked why he didn't want to appear in front of him, but he was worried that he might harm him. Making Bong-soo couldn't help but hug her in his arms. He remembered Bong-soo's words that he had wanted to leave Song-ae's body for a long time. However, she couldn't leave herself. So to comfort Song-ae, the voice of Woo said that he had known that this was Song-ae's dream for a long time. Because if it were real, Jiho wouldn't have studied in this class and the pile of trees in the window wouldn't have been watered either. Jong-woo began to tell Song-ae about everything around him when he was in the 12th grade. From how their friends are habitually in class and how they are more united together. Song-ae asked Woo what his life was like. He also honestly talked about how he tried to find Duong-ae. What Tong-woo is more interested in is how she has lived during that time. Song-ae sat in the seat of the Woo voice and said that she often felt his warmth like this. But compared to seeing him in person, it was always much warmer. Those things are great for Song-ae. Seeing that she had been so lonely all that time, Tong-woo apologized for letting her be lonely for so long. Then he slowly put a kiss on his lips as if to show how much he missed her. That's why Song-ae gradually woke up. Asking where the Bong-soo was, he pointed to his heart and told him to stay here. What they both want is the safety of Song-ae. Because Song-ae has tried so hard to protect herself and Bong-soo before, so the two don't want her to have to work hard for herself anymore. Tong-woo told Song-ae that from now on, he only needs to do 3 things for him. The first is to sleep well, eat well, and laugh more often. As long as it is so innocent, the Woo voice will take care of the rest. The next day when he woke up, Jiho felt that the weather today was beautiful. Stop by to see if Bong-soo has woken up, but when you look closely, he immediately realized that it was Song-ae without any doubt. So he immediately went to the kitchen to prepare a breakfast for everyone, like the nanny of the whole family. When the voice of Woo wakes up, seeing Song-ae sitting below, he rearranged the pile of clothes. I didn't think these were the things she had worn before. It's true that the Bong-soo also likes fashion very much. It's been a long time since I've seen my loved one happy like this. Jiho's heart suddenly became much lighter, and after the meal, he also decided to pack up and leave here. He had decided to tell the Woo voice that his first spirit had also come to an end. Although there was a little regret and a sharp pain in my heart. But Jiho is already in love, and he just sets out to find his own happiness. Now only Song-ae and Nae-woo are enjoying their own moment together as a couple. Tong-woo is currently preparing to go with the Shadow Master to solve the matter of the two. Looking at Song-ae for the last time, he didn't leave her at all. A Hwa voice appeared, saying in a Woo voice, "Don't look at her for too long. That only makes it harder to leave." But I had kept the Bong-soo in her body for too long, and that made her divine power weaken a lot. The only thing that can save you now is to die or be reincarnated in another life. After leaving the last letter to the fairy heaven and earth, the voice of Woo promised to go to a deserted forest. Tong Yong-hwa felt guilty because it was partly she who made Tong Yong-woo have to become a person like this, but she also promised to help him get through without feeling any pain. Saying that, she put the charm on the boredom of Woo's voice. Summoning the Bong-soo appeared and was ready to face death. The flower prince at his mother's house suddenly screamed for a promise everywhere. Whoever only received a transfer amount from the Hwa voice for the last time like this, she paid all the charms she had taken from the flower prince. All his life, he was not afraid of death when he performed the ceremony with the shadow of a monk. He wondered if he had to go to hell or not. The voice promised him to rest assured that he would not go alone. The flower prince outside shouted, "Crazy woman, stop your hands. It's not too late to correct your mistakes. Because you don't want outsiders to disturb you." He immediately sealed the door, and every time he touched it, it was burned. Meanwhile, Song-ae was at home. In her dream, she felt as if she had forgotten something. The flower prince and the other magicians outside tried their best to do the ceremony. But inside the promise had cut off the silk of life, causing the shadow to be extremely painful. The voice of promise wakes up only to see the shadow hugging his friend for the last time. But she is still lost in her dreams, thinking that she will stay here to study until she graduates. But the voice of the godmother always echoed in her ears, making her realize that she was a magician. "So what are you doing in this dream?" So Song-a woke up, only to see on the table a letter of rejection left by the voice of the promise, to the fairy heaven and earth. When she woke up, it was the end of everything. "I just hope she can understand the pain of leaving to save her. He loved her very much and that would help her live on." But it was not committed, came to the front of the shrine of the god's mother before and called the god down. "Come back and give her strength." Song-a burst into tears, only hoping that her god could allow her to use her divine power again to be able to save the person she loved. Meanwhile, in the abandoned house, the voice of promise with the shadow of the lion continues his ritual until he succeeds. But the Flower Prince still tried his best to keep the safety of the two people inside. Song-a's response was also answered. The gods who had left this place also appeared in front of Song-a, including the appearance of the godmother, which made her extremely happy to see her mother again. The Flower Prince thought that he had run out of ways to save the promised voice from the hands of the god of death. My aunt told him to quickly look behind him, because the fairy heaven and earth and the godmother had already appeared. The Flower Prince burst into tears like a child, calling the two real people who knew how to choose the time to appear. Why did it take so long to get here? Then, with the power of the song, she was able to save the cloth in an extremely sweet way to break the seal of the door. Diane went inside and saved the promise before she died. Currently, only one Bongsu is the problem. Song-a wanted to know what his real name was. Only then can things go back to where they started. But the voice of promise in the dream of the master is trying to ask what the names of the two children pointing guns at him are. You must have been here alone for a long time. It wasn't easy for him at all. The promise hugged the boy in front of him, introducing himself as the promise voice. And the boy's name is not Bongsu. At this time, the boy told Song-a through his soul that his real name was Jongjun Mo. However, I realized that this name is very meaningful when put together. It means that the sun fairy illuminates the horizon. What a beautiful name. Now, everyone can finally pray for Jun Mo's super liberation. But Jun Mo really wanted to feel the warmth of Song-a once. Wanted to hug her once before leaving. Seeing the small shoulder of the magician in front of him, who had to carry everything on his shoulders, Jun Mo finally said goodbye and didn't make her feel tired anymore. I didn't forget that Song-a should also say goodbye to him just like a child. Saying that, Jun Mo finally left Ganwoo's body. It just disappeared after the purification ceremony of the two masters and the three shamans. Ganwoo saw that the voice of the promise was hurriedly leaving, and he immediately followed and asked what her real name was. The other name is not a promise. Ganwoo only felt good when he found out her real name, but he didn't want to reveal it to Ganwoo. Because she had done a lot of things that were wrong to him, she finally came to the National Supply Shooting Tournament of Ganwoo. Jiho wondered where Song-a was now, but as before, when she saw someone who was haunted, she had compassion and helped them a little. Then hurriedly ran to Ganwoo's place, but she stopped only to see a wandering child alone in the park. Where did Ganwoo walk up and ask what Song-a was doing? There was only a lonely child on the other side who was crying. But that child, when he finds himself, is not alone when someone is here. The boy had also left, which made Song-a extremely light. He must have stopped crying, right? But suddenly remembered the archery competition of Ganwoo. Some time ago, he had also achieved a ticket to the Olympics. Song-a was happy and wanted to slap his hands with Ganwoo. How could he kiss Song-a once? So the two of them just went on like that.